than $500 million lawsuit against the city and the Memphis Police Department for the January beating of 29-year-old Tyree. The lawsuit also names the 5 former Memphis police officers who are charged with second-degree murder in his death. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Warm temps, but they come with a warning. 76 and sunny downtown, all clear on the radar. Low dropping to 58 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:02. Warm temperatures, a risk for fires and rain. All of those things are likely to happen Thursday in Indiana. John Herrick reports.
With highs near 80 across the state for Thursday, Andrew White with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says you should be on the lookout for humidity, too.
Yeah, humidity is going to be a little dry today, but not quite as bad as it's going to be tomorrow.
Same with the wind gusts Thursday, which he says could reach 40 miles an hour at times, so he thinks it's best for you to not burn anything while you're outside. Rain could be heavy, too, especially late Thursday night into Friday morning. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
When tornadoes rip through a community, what's left is the debris from the homes people spent their whole lives building. As part of the recovery effort, Whiteland needs to rebuild from the emotional trauma as well as the physical.
The mental health is a huge component that we're learning is very critical to address during a situation like this.
Whiteland's Development Director Carmen Young speaking to Wish TV. FEMA is coming in to help rebuild, but the recovery will take at least a year. The EPA is releasing the results of air testing after the massive fire in Richmond. It happened over a week ago, but the evacuation order for the immediate area surrounding the plastics recycling facility was not lifted until Sunday. The EPA says they've not detected any contaminants of concern in the air. The agency is going to continue its 24-hour air monitoring and will post validated air sample results as they get them. Teachers in Indiana can have a gun in their classroom with permission from their school board. State senators approved a bill that would provide free and voluntary firearm training to teachers. Democrats argue that bill adds more danger to school shootings.
And these kids' lives are precious. And we got to quit worrying about the gun. We got to think about the human component. That's what we're dealing with. We have a meanness in our society, an evilness in the society.
Republican State Senator Jim Toms. The bill now heads back to the Indiana House for a second vote there. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:04.
Indiana has a long history of pioneering education freedom and empowering families who know what's best for their children. But as universal education freedom sweeps the nation in states like Iowa, Arizona, Arkansas, West Virginia, Utah, and Florida, Hoosiers are at risk of being left behind unless we act now. Indiana lawmakers have an opportunity to ensure all Hoosiers can exercise their right to decide what education is best for their child, where they learn, how they learn. The time is now for Indiana to regain its status as a leader by delivering universal access to education freedom for every Hoosier. The time is now for Indiana to ensure our children get the education they deserve, so they can compete with every state in America and every country around the globe. Contact your state senator today and tell them now is the time to put our kids first and pass universal school choice. Paid for by Yes Every Kid.
With traffic on the 5s at 3:05, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, up in Clinton County, northbound 65 is shut down completely because of a vehicle fire crash, and this is going to be a few miles north of State Road 47. Use US 52 instead. Inbound 69 slows from 96th Street down to 82nd. Traffic sponsored by Inbound.org. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world, and it will change your own. Unbound.org. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Mostly sunny skies, very warm temperatures here this afternoon, a high of 79. Quiet conditions, partly cloudy and comfortable overnight, a low down to 57. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
All right, Hammer, I like it. This bill advancing. Yesterday, it's making state funding available for teachers seeking firearms training.
A couple Democrats actually jumped on board in the Indiana Senate to make this a 42-8 vote that passed this bill. Now, if you remember, it started in the House, and I believe Jim Lucas was the one that was championing this bill, where teachers who, if they wanted to, would have all their training necessary for firearm usage covered by the school.
When you say firearm usage, you mean in the school, have a firearm in the classroom.
Right. In the unlikely events,
yes.
Hopefully this never becomes a situation where there's a gunman in the school. This would allow teachers to have their weapons on them, and they would have at least 40 hours of training to use said firearm.
Now, let's be clear. It's my understanding there are already classrooms and teachers in the state that have firearms in the classroom. We don't know where, we don't know who, we don't know how many, but it's already allowed. But you're saying this bill is actually providing state funding to train teachers that want to do this.
Right. And before the anti-gun, anti-2A folks get their panties in a wad, it's not mandatory. If you're somebody that feels like this is a bad idea, you do not have to do it. You will not be looked upon a different way. But if you're a teacher that says, man, I just think that this is probably something I need for my classroom, I would feel better if I had my weapon and I was trained properly, at least 40 hours of training, I'm going to have the school pay for that. That bill has now moved through the Senate. So it's basically up to Governor Holcomb to see if he wants to sign that or not.
Did Greg Popovich, the coach of the Spurs, have anything to say about this? Apparently he doesn't want to turn our schools into, quote, prisons. Every time I walk in an airport, I see armed people everywhere. I don't feel like I'm in the prison. I think we should start treating we need to be locking down our schools, making it harder to gain entrance, even into the parking lot, single entry, and of course, resource officers. I like resource officers. There's one at our school. I don't know if there's probably a few at Beech Grove.
Yes.
And of course, as a last, means of whatever
resistance.
The last part of the resistance here, if there is indeed a shooter, is teachers having the ability to arm themselves and protect their kids.
Right. Now, the folks like Greg Popovich, the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, said he doesn't want more resource officers or guns in the classroom. But it's funny, when you go to an NBA basketball game, let's say one being coached by Greg Popovich, what do you see? You see armed security.
Yeah, they don't want you to be able to defend yourself, but they have the means and the wealth to do it, to hire private security, to hire off-duty policemen to do it for them.
Now, the opponents of having teachers get state funding to be trained say this will increase the number of guns in schools, and this will be a detriment to the students. And if a teacher just happens to leave his weapon laying around haphazardly, what if a student gets it? It's another gun in the school, now in the hands of a student, and that could be disastrous. So that's the argument from the other side.
Well, they need to make sure that doesn't happen, and they need to make sure the kids don't even know where it's at. And they need to make sure that it's inaccessible to any student, or anybody else for that matter, except for the teacher.
The schools, according to this bill, could also apply for such funding in the event of a school shooting to cover the cost of counseling for the students, teachers, and other school employees. That's all part of the same bill. So let's say, remember a number of years ago, there was a shooting at Noblesville West Middle School where the heroic teacher jumped in and stopped and tackled the shooter.
It was on Carb Day, wasn't it?
Yes, it was on Carb Day a couple of years ago, I think 2018. Under this new bill, now there would be state funding available for the kids to have free counseling, the teachers to have counseling, and all that kind of stuff.
You need to start protecting our kids like you protect our jewelry and our money.
Right. Because, listen, the kids aren't going to get any better that are trying to harm you. Right? These kids that are bringing weapons to school, and I say kids, sometimes they're grown-ass adults, but the bad actors, let's just call them that are bringing their weapons into the classroom to try to kill kids, people are going to continue to get worse. I mean, I'm sorry. That's the real reality. Look what's happening in the major streets of cities around the nation, from Chicago to Baltimore to Indianapolis. It's a mess. I wish I could tell you things were going to get better, kids are going to get better, people are going to get better, but I've got very little faith that that's going to be the case. So I'm like you, Nige. I want as many resource officers in that classroom as the budget would allow. I want teachers, if they choose to have the proper training to carry a firearm to try to protect kids.
Yeah, just as a last resort. If all else fails, if somebody accidentally leaves a door open or something like that, as a last resort, have that extra piece of protection there to where you might have a fighting chance against one of these lunatics.
Speaking of weapons, there was a tweet by President Biden earlier today, or whoever runs his social media. You know damn well he doesn't tweet because there wasn't any spelling errors and things like that. Quote, ban assault weapons. It's beyond time.
Okay.
So we're doing this song and dance again. Every time Joe Biden needs a little bump up from the polls, or maybe a little donation, a little kickback from the anti-gun folks, he'll put a message out that says ban assault weapons. All right, fine. So let's play the game here. There just happened to be a hearing in Washington, D.C. earlier today. If you want to ban assault weapons, here's a hearing. On the stand is the director of the ATF. Now, the ATF, remind me again what that stands for.
There's alcohol in there. There's the tobacco. And let's see, what is that? Firearms?
Firearms.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
You would think that the director of the ATF, not the IT guy, not the social media contact, but the director of the ATF would be somewhat aware of firearms.
Or at least familiar with them.
Take a listen to this today, where the director of the ATF, and again, the F standing for firearms, admits, well, I'm not really a firearms expert.
What could you, in 15 seconds, would you define an assault weapon for me?
So
if you go past 15 seconds, I'll just interrupt you.
No, so I'll go shorter than that, because I honestly do think if Congress wishes to take that up, I think Congress would have to do the work, but we would be there to provide technical assistance. Unlike you, I'm not a firearms expert to the same extent as you may be.
Quote, I'm not a firearms expert. You're the director of the ATF.
Who the hell are they hiring to run this crap? Dude, like this guy and certain members of Congress want to make millions of Americans felons, essentially, by banning assault weapons. Hell yes, we'll take your guns, as Beto said. And should you at least maybe know or have a slight understanding of what it is you're talking about? I'm not a firearms expert, but yes, I want to take these guns. I want yours. I want you to turn it in. You law-abiding gun owners, you crack open your safe and you turn that into the police right now. But I can't really define what an assault weapon is.
Who's prepping these people? You have to know that's going to be the question that's brought to the table, right? Like if you're talking to the ATF director before the meeting, listen, the Republicans are going to ask you, what's an assault weapon?
Here's your answer.
Here's your answer. The director of the ATF, and the F stands for, again,
firearms,
did not have an answer and said he's not a firearms expert. Now, since we're speaking about Joe Biden, one more thing before we hit a traffic break here. Just a reminder, 75 days ago, all right, jump back in the hot tub time machine here. 75 days ago, that was the disaster in East Palestine, Ohio, the toxic train derailment.
Yes.
48 days ago, Joe Biden promised he'd visit at some point. Of the last 75 days, from the day where that train derailed and the toxic disaster took place, Joe Biden's been on vacation 31 of those days, and there's no plans to visit East Palestine, Ohio.
You had to get that trip to Ireland in. Come on now.
It was either that or Wally Worlds with the Bidens, and they chose to go to Ireland. All right, Matt Bear, what's going on?
Clinton County crash. All lanes closed northbound at 65 around the Lebanon rest area. And this is two semi-crash and a fire. Traffic stopped almost to State Road 47. We're not moving on the southbound side either, starting after State Road 28. And northbound Harding Street, that stopped before Empler Avenue up to 465 because of construction. Southbound lanes also a struggle. Traffic sponsored by Comcast Business. The Comcast Business Complete Connectivity Solution. It's cybersecurity, internet, and mobile, all from one provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Restrictions apply. Comcast Business, internet required. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Again, I can't fathom that the director of the ATF says, I'm not a real expert on firearms.
Biden's administration. This is the top leading down. I mean, you got to expect this from anyone under Biden's control.
Where else is that acceptable? Like, could you imagine laying on the operating table and the doctor looks down at you? Well, surgery is not really my thing.
Well, give it a try.
This scalpel, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. 78 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
Get 20% discount from Zero Res when you clean the carpets and upholstery for a real spring cleaning. 388-5141 or online at zeroresindy.com.
For the first time ever since opening its doors, the Indianapolis Men's Clinic is now the only men's health organization offering an intimacy guarantee. That's right. If you don't perform, you don't pay. You heard that right. Restoring intimacy is important to everyone. Helping men with a proven solution is what drives success. That's why the Indianapolis Men's Clinic stands by their intimacy guarantee. Now you will have the assurance and confidence of proven outcomes without the fear of financial loss. By using the latest technology for the treatment of ED, acoustic wave therapy uses pressure waves to open existing blood vessels, which restores spontaneity and intimacy for you and your loved one. Stop trusting companies that feed you empty promises with no results. Trust an intimacy guarantee. Trust the Indianapolis Men's Clinic. Call the Indianapolis Men's Clinic today. 317-999-9000. That's 317-999-9000 or IndianapolisMen'sClinic.com.
Hi, Pat Sullivan here from Sullivan Hardware and Garden in Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan. Our stores are blooming with flowers, hanging baskets, bedding plants, perennials, annual containers, shrubs, trees, and much more. With so many colors and varieties, it's the best looking selection you'll find anywhere. Come see the difference. Why, you ask? Our plants are from top quality Midwest growers, many right here in Indianapolis. Check the specials on our patio furniture like all-weather wicker, Berlin Gardens poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more. You can even choose your own custom cushions on most sets. We specialize in excellent quality mid-price patio furniture that's in stock at our 37,000 square foot warehouse, all priced at 30% off. See our large selection of grills, Weber, Traeger, and the Big Green Egg. Shop, play, experience. Spring with Sullivan's. 71st and Keystone, 49th and Penn, Cicero, and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan in Fishers.
Give your small business one tech solution that checks all the boxes. It's all here with the Comcast Business Complete Connectivity Solution. It's cyber threat security for peace of mind. Check. The power of the largest, fastest, reliable network for small business. That's a triple box check right there. And save up to 75% a year on your wireless bill with Comcast Business Mobile. Check and cha-ching. It's everything you need to keep your business connected. From the company powered by the next generation 10G network. The complete connectivity solution. Get started for just $49 a month for 24 months when you add mobile. And ask about an $800 prepaid card. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Ends 5/21/23. Restrictions apply. Requires 2-year agreement, EcoBill, and autopay. New 100 megabits per second internet and security edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares weighted average of top 3 carriers. Taxes and fees extra. Reduced speeds after use of monthly data. Savings vary.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Come into Bell Tire today. You'll get the lowest tire price, period. Like $70 off a set of 4 Michelin tires. You'll also get a guy who will give you free lifetime flat repairs, tire rotations, and alignment checks. Get $70 off a set of 4 Michelin tires. Plus more free services and more out of your tires and more for your money. It's how we make the lowest tire price feel even lower at Bell Tire. See store and belltire.com for details and offer expiration.
Tune in to WIBC's First Day Show each Sunday, 10 to noon, to hear about good things in Indy. Brought to you by Greg Cooper and Lisa Phillips with Crossroads Collective at Compass Real Estate.
This hour is powered by Dammons West, Indiana's most complete garden center. Hammer and Nigel.
They should have been fired a long time ago.
I think we got a show.
Oh, yeah, we got a show.
We definitely got a show.
Oh, yeah!
Hello. I'm Nigel. Hammer is right over there. There's this thread on Reddit that we were looking at earlier. People are calling out things that were actually good until they got popular.
Okay, so is this like the guy that says, I used to see this band play at this bar in my hometown. Yeah. Now they're popular and they suck.
Like Metallica was awesome before the Black Album. Then they decided to sell out and write songs with melodies and crap.
Popular songs that people like.
Yeah.
Who wants that?
I guess this might be similar. Let's go through some of these and then you'll better understand maybe what we're talking about. Garage sales, yard sales, and flea markets. And now that reselling, quote, vintage things is kind of a hot trend, the prices for people's junk has definitely skyrocketed.
Yeah, there's definitely an effect from what's that one show where people bring in their old crap and they get a price for it?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Allison, help me out.
Antique Roadshow.
Yeah.
So I think everybody feels like that they've got some prize that's worth a lot of money, even though it's really a hunk of crap.
But you know, the thing is, this is right, though, because I see it with my wife. She still sells stuff on Facebook Marketplace, like kids' old clothes and some of the old toys. I go, there's no way anybody's going to get... And she goes, oh, wait, you watch. And then there's all of a sudden somebody comes up with $100 in their envelope and leaves it on my front porch and takes a bunch of crap.
All right, I want to have your wife do an experiment. I want to see how much an autographed pair of boxers worn by Nigel goes for on Facebook Marketplace. Over under is set at $35.
Okay, we'll do that experiment.
The only officially worn pair of underpants autographed by you, over under set at $35.
And I get the money.
Yes.
I'm not donating it to charity or anything like that.
No, it's all you.
Okay.
Buy more underpants if you want.
People are calling out things that were good until they got popular. Number 2, the Food Network. It used to be a good place to learn new recipes and techniques, but now it's filled with like reality competition shows and over-the-top stuff. Same goes with a few of those other cable TV channels.
MTV, right? That's like the same thing with MTV. Used to be music. That's what the M literally stood for, and now it's all crap, like Jersey Shore, and I don't know when the last time I even put my television on MTV, like scrolling through the channels.
What about this one? Las Vegas used to be good, now it's popular, and now it sucks. It's become way more expensive, is what this Reddit thread is.
Bingo, 100%. I'm all in on this.
Less classy is
because man, you used to go to Vegas, and as long as you were spending money gambling or drinking or watching the shows, whatever it is that you go for, they would take care of you. They'd give you comps, here's a cocktail, here's this, here's that. Now they nickel and dime you. Even if you have a cheap room somewhere, the resort fee's probably more than the rate that you're paying anyway. And the people walking up and down the strip, it's not like the old days, man. Since they've legalized weed, and I know this is going to tick off a lot of people considering tomorrow's like National Weed Day, 420, but it's nothing but people just smoking weed up and down the strip. Gone are the days of like Frank Sinatra and people dressed up awesome for Vegas. It's kind of rough, man.
So you can walk down in front of the Bellagio and watch the fountain show and smoke a doob?
Absolutely.
No way.
Totally.
Right,
and it's kind of ruined
open?
it. It has. Like, I'm all about, if you want to smoke weed, be my guest, but it's out there in public space. You walk outside sometimes in Vegas to the strip, you notice the scent of weed right away.
Things that were actually good until they got popular. Food trucks. Now that they're trendy, they're charging restaurant prices. Well, I would say they're probably charging prices in line with inflation. There's a lot of food trucks I like.
They probably want to sell it cheaper, but they got to make a profit somehow.
Yeah, of course.
I'm with you on that one. I'm looking at the list here, too. This one is near and dear to my heart. Youth sports. It used to be a fun way for your kids to get activity, get exercise, try something new, make friends. But now every parent thinks their kid is the next LeBron James or the next Peyton Manning. And next thing you know, these obnoxious lunatic loser parents are getting in fights at the games, yelling at the umpire. This is why there's an umpire shortage in high school baseball right now. There have been a ton of games that have been canceled because lunatic parents.
You're kidding. And you've never been that way. Or at least your oldest plays sports, right? And you've never had any sort of illusions, or neither does he, that he's going to be, go on to the major leagues.
No.
He's still a good baseball player, though.
Yeah.
But you've never been sort of under the misconception that, no, my son is going to push through to, be a starting pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Go to an AAU basketball game, because this is Indiana where basketball is king. The things you will see at an AAU basketball game, you will lose faith in humanity at some of these parents, man. It's ridiculous.
One more here. People calling out things that were good until they got popular. Streaming services.
I'm with you on that one, too.
They're becoming more and more like the cable companies. People originally chose them over. Didn't you cut the cord and then re-sign up for the cord cable?
I was a cord cutter.
Yeah.
And then, we got rid of the cable because we thought we were getting railroaded by the cable company. So I got Netflix and I got Hulu. By the time you get all your stuff, the Amazon Primes and
Peacock
and all the stuff, by the time you sign up for all the stuff now, it's cheaper to go back to the cord. So we've got the internet and the cable and a few other apps.
We just added Apple TV to the list of streaming because my wife wanted to watch Ted Lasso.
Okay.
And I'm probably going to cancel it after we're done with the series. But, just another one on top. We've got Apple TV, Disney, HBO, Netflix, Amazon Prime should be enough.
Right.
I mean, that should be really enough, but it's not.
And all the prices are going up, and there's no stoppage in sight of that trend anytime soon. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hey, I'm a homeowner. You're a homeowner. Lots of stuff to worry about when you own your own home, like that low battery chirping smoke detector that you can't seem to find. Hey, but thankfully, I'm also a American Standard furnace and air conditioner owner. I don't have to worry about my heating and cooling. If you need American Standard service, Hammer will tell you who you need to see.
Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your trusted American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. If you're tired of hearing the ads where you get a free furnace with the purchase of an air conditioner and you know that's fake and you know it's a gimmick, then call Marshall. You're going to get an honest quote in Johnson and the surrounding counties. And make sure that AC unit is ready to go. It's tuned up for what could be a hot summer ahead. Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling. Ask them about how they can help with indoor air quality as well. 317-738-5940 or visit callthemarshallnow.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Tired of eating at the same old places? Try Jay's Lobster and Fish Market in the Garage Food Hall in the Bottle Works District, downtown Indy. Named one of Indianapolis Monthly's best restaurants in 2021. Jay's specializes in lobster rolls, but also serves up incredible crab and shrimp rolls. A New England-style seafood shack, bringing a taste of the East Coast home to Indiana. You've got to try it all. Lobster rolls, lobster mac and cheese, lobster grilled cheese, and more. It's all at Jay's Lobster and Fish Market. Visit today.
So the other guys that do concrete coatings, that refinish your garage floors, use epoxy. That's the old standard, by the way. What Galaxy Concrete Coatings does is they use polyurea. It's better than epoxy. It's the new premium standard for coatings. That's what they used on my garage floor. It's stronger, and they got done as little as one day. The guys were great. My Galaxy Concrete garage floor is out of this world, literally. Check out the website, see pictures, get a quote, galaxyconcretecoatings.com, or call them 751-9070.
This is Scott Willis running for mayor of Westfield. As a colonel in the United States Marines, I stood up for our country, our families, and our values. As mayor, I have the leadership and vision to make Westfield a world-class city. How do we build a world-class city without losing the qualities we love? We do it with transparency, integrity, and smart leadership. I am a lifelong Republican. I'll work to diversify our tax base and to lower residential taxes. On Election Day, experience matters. I'm Scott Willis, and I'd be honored to have your vote.
Paid for by Willis for Westfield.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It could return tomorrow. 78 degrees, sunny in downtown Indianapolis. Your radar is clear. Low tonight dropping into the 50s, down to 58. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:31. Rain is expected to fall across most of the state Thursday night.
There's going to be some lingering showers and storms into Friday, but that should wrap up by the time we get into the later portions of the weekend. Temperatures, though, are going to start to cool down as we get Saturday into Sunday.
Andrew White with the National Weather Service says it will eventually warm up again next week, with wind gusts expected to reach 40 miles per hour at times. White urges you to not burn anything outside. The federal government is stepping in to help Whiteland rebuild their town, but Parker Carlson reports they'll need much more help to rebuild mentally.
The alarm goes off. You grab your family and rush to the basement to wait it out. Chaos destroys everything above you, and when it's finally safe, the worst damage is from the trauma of seeing your home blown away. As part of the recovery effort, Whiteland needs to rebuild emotionally as well as physically.
The mental health is a huge component that we're learning is very critical to address during a situation like this.
Development Director Carmen Young speaking to Wish TV. FEMA is coming to help, but the recovery will take at least a year. Parker Carlson, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Biden administration announced another military aid package for Ukraine today.
The package will include more ammunition for U.S.-provided HIMARS, rocket systems, and anti-armor systems, as well as additional artillery rounds.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre classified documents that were recently leaked said Ukraine's air defense artillery could be depleted by May. The 3 Tennessee state lawmakers who protested for more gun control will visit the White House next week. Justin Jones, Justin Pearson, and Gloria Johnson will meet the president Monday. Jones and Pearson were each expelled for protesting on the House floor after a school shooting in Nashville. The Powerball jackpot is up to $251 million for tonight's drawing. That works out to a cash option of just under $134 million. The Hoosier Lottery says someone did, though, win a $50,000 winning ticket in Newburgh Monday night. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:33.
Spring in Indy. And since 2001, Rhino Shield has been covering Indiana homes and businesses. Just ask Mike.
I was watching TV one night and saw the Rhino Shield ad, and I thought, well, if they can do a house, they can probably do a building.
And Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
So they came out and they gave me a price, showed me how the Rhino works, how it lasts, and how the guarantee works.
Business owners, you too can get the 25-year protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
They started on the building. They waited for us to leave, and they worked Saturday and Sunday so they wouldn't affect our business at all. This was the great part of it. I came back Sunday night, and you couldn't even tell they were here. There was no paint on the ground. They did a fantastic job.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Hey, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
With traffic at 3:34, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Harrison, I'm looking at northbound 65 in Clinton County. This is a 2 semi crash, fire, and closure to the north of State Road 47. So the delay is almost back to State Road 47, no matter. That's where you exit, and that's going to take some time. Traffic stopped from 47 for about 2 miles, and then once you make your exit, that's going to be stopped traffic as well. Get on 52 as soon as you can, maybe from I-65. Traffic sponsored by B Windows. Celebrate B Windows' 40-year anniversary with 40% savings on all their products, plus manufacturer's rebates. Get 20 months, no interest, no payments. Trust me. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
For tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, low temperature of 57 degrees. Tomorrow, clouds will increase. Temperature does get to 80 degrees for a high. Wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nigel. Hammer's over there. Man, I didn't realize that today was the 28-year anniversary of the federal building in Oklahoma City that was bombed by Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols.
The Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building. So that was 28 years ago, 1995? So, man, it feels like it wasn't that long ago. That's one of the first stories that I remember really following as a high schooler, because I was in high school when this happened. And in high school, let's be honest, my main focuses were play sports, see boobs. Those were the things. But there are certain stories that you remember that kind of fascinated you, and this was one of the stories. So 28 years ago today, this is what it sounded like on NBC News. Matt Lauer was still the anchor, and this was the breaking news.
And good morning, everyone. I'm Matt Lauer in New York, and we do have a special report from NBC News. There has been a massive explosion at a federal building in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It happened just a short time ago. A large portion of that building has collapsed and fallen away from the rest of the building. At the moment, we don't have any specific numbers on injuries or deaths, but we can tell you that the Red Cross in the Oklahoma City area has asked for all volunteers to report for duty. Also, we can tell you that they've asked for donations of blood, so the situation is obviously serious.
168 people, including 19 children, lost their lives that day.
There's a daycare center there.
Right. Over 850 people injured. The bombing was the deadliest terror assault on U.S. soil until the attacks of 9/11. And again, this was Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols. And one of the things that I remember early on, sometimes we'll make fun of a sketch artist when they don't get it right. The sketch they had out originally of Timothy McVeigh was 100% spot on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that looked just like him.
Yep.
And Timothy McVeigh, it sounds like, was motivated by what happened in Waco.
Well, Ruby Ridge and then Waco, of course. Both of those.
There's this new series on Showtime called Waco Aftermath. Now, a number of years ago, they had this Waco series about what took place leading up to
that.
Branch Davidian's fire.
I watched, and you should go. I don't know if it's still on Netflix or not. I think they were the ones that released the documentary called Oklahoma City, surrounding Tim McVeigh and Terry Nichols and how they found each other and what their radical ideologies were and how they wound up, putting together the pieces to find them and arrest them. Gripping documentary. Hard to watch, though.
This spin-off series on Showtime, it's called Waco Aftermath. This takes you through what it was like for those that survived the compound in Waco, the legal process, and ultimately the radicalization of Timothy McVeigh. McVeigh was ultimately convicted on 11 counts of murder, conspiracy, using a weapon of mass destruction. He was the first person executed for a federal crime in the United States since 1963. Now, Timothy McVeigh was held in Terre Haute at the federal death facility here in Terre Haute. He did an interview with 60 Minutes while he was on death row. Take a listen.
One of the benefits of me talking to you today is that you'll see that maybe not everything is true that you've heard about me. Well, am I pure evil? Am I the face of terror sitting here in front of you?
Yeah.
Or am I able to talk to you man to man?
Most people in this country think you are the face of evil, don't they?
They do. But sitting down here now, and let me make clear, I'm not sitting here trying to influence you, and I'm not putting on a game face. I'm not conning anybody. I'm just being me.
Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols, both veterans, and they were associated with this thing called the Patriot Movement. And they basically became radicals and worked together for this plan to blow up the federal building as a way of showing their disgust at what the United States government was doing. He was put on death row, again, held in Terre Haute. Here's Timothy McVeigh on 60 Minutes talking about death.
Are you prepared for death?
I am. I came to terms with my mortality in the Gulf War. After that, it's not that hard to be, quote, prepared for death.
And the other thing, Nigel, if you remember, he waived a lot of his appeals processes. He could have dragged that out longer and said, you know what, let's just get this over with, and was executed at the federal chamber down in Terre Haute.
Was it the needle or the chair? I think it was a needle, wasn't it?
It was the needle.
Yeah.
I've got a montage here of some witnesses that were in the room when Timothy McVeigh was executed for his crimes. Now, this is some pretty chilling stuff. This might be a little graphic for some young kids if you have them in the car, but this is what it was like inside the death chamber in Terre Haute when Timothy McVeigh was executed.
Inmate McVeigh was calm throughout the entire process. He cooperated entirely during the time he was restrained.
He seemed to almost be trying to to take charge of the room and understand his circumstances, nodding at each one of us individually.
The warden did say, "Inmate McVeigh, you may make your last statement." At that point, there was silence. He did swallow and puff some air, and you could see his chest moving up and down.
At 7:10, they announced that the first drug had been administered.
After the first drug was administered, his lips began turning a little bit paler. His skin became pale.
His eyes became increasingly glassy, almost watery, as the process went on.
His skin began to turn a very strange shade of yellow towards the end, and he remained extremely rigid.
There was no sign of suffering. There was no sign of discomfort. There was no sign of fear. I wouldn't describe as peaceful. I would describe it more as blank.
So 28 years ago today, the Oklahoma City bombing took place. They've had a lot of special ceremonies in Oklahoma City today to commemorate a very somber anniversary.
I'm reading about the exactly the cocktail that he received. There were 3 drugs. The first one, renders him unconscious. The next one paralyzes the muscles, like voluntary muscles. And then potassium chloride is the third, which basically induces cardiac arrest. And that's a little too nice for me, especially if I was a victim of the family of the victim. That's a little... They responded to it as very formal and very quiet and very peaceful. And I don't know. That's what that guy deserved.
Now, the other party, Terry Nichols, avoided the death penalty but was convicted of conspiracy and 8 counts of involuntary manslaughter and sentenced to life in prison without parole, and he's still behind bars. Nige, on a happier note, let's shift gears to something a little bit more uplifting. If you're looking for a reason to drink tonight, if you're saying to yourself, you know what, the sun is out, it's going to be upper 70s today, I am looking for a reason to have a beverage. How about this? It's the birthday of tennis hottie Maria Sharapova.
Oh, yeah.
36 years old today.
Well, I was going to stay dry tonight, trying to watch those calories, but damn it, just when I think I'm out, you pull me back in to the beer fridge, that is.
Maria Sharapova, 36. She's been no stranger to controversy. She used to get criticized because her skirt was so short.
Oh, please.
And then, if you remember, when she would return a shot on the court, she would grunt really loudly, and some people thought she was doing it on purpose to get attention. One of her grunts was actually measured at 101.2 decibels, which is louder than a lawnmower. I don't know why somebody decided to do that math, but we have the information and we present it to you. That's the way we do things on this show. So, in honor of her birthday, 36 years old today, Maria Sharapova, one of the great grunters in the history of tennis. I want you to turn this up as loud as you can. If you're in your car, in your office, crank it up. Here's 30 seconds of grunting from Maria Sharapova. Halfway.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know what this means, but Matt Baer fell out of his chair. Matt Baer in the traffic center just fell out of his chair.
Picking himself, I'm looking at him right now, picking himself right back up.
It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
For the first time ever since opening its doors, the Indianapolis Men's Clinic is now the only men's health organization offering an intimacy guarantee. That's right. If you don't perform, you don't pay. You heard that right. Restoring intimacy is important to everyone. Helping men with a proven solution is what drives success. That's why the Indianapolis Men's Clinic stands by their intimacy guarantee. Now you will have the assurance and confidence of proven outcomes without the fear of financial loss. By using the latest technology for the treatment of ED, acoustic wave therapy uses pressure waves to open existing blood vessels, which restores spontaneity and intimacy for you and your loved one. Stop trusting companies that feed you empty promises with no results. trust and intimacy guarantee. Trust the Indianapolis Men's Clinic. Call the Indianapolis Men's Clinic today. 317-999-9000. That's 317-999-9000 or IndianapolisMen'sClinic.com.
Imagine if you could get a 35% bonus when you invest your money. If you invest $100,000, you get a $35,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $70,000 bonus.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. Learn how you could get a 35% bonus from Bill Demery, your retirement guy. We're believers in Bill, and now we're clients too. Not only will you get a 35% bonus, you'll sleep well at night knowing your money is backed by an A-plus insurance company that's been in business for 140 years and has $2.5 trillion in assets.
To learn how you could get your 35% bonus, call 317-932-9912. Reach out to Bill Demery, your retirement guy, at 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912.
Testosterone levels are at an all-time low. Individual T levels decline 1% every year. Chalk, CHOQ, is the new champion of natural testosterone boosters. Chalk's main ingredient is clinically studied to naturally boost testosterone 20% in 90 days. Supercharge your masculinity and boost your daily energy with Chalk's Male Vitality Stack. For a limited time, our listeners will get 30% off at CHOQ.com with promo code USA. CHOQ.com, code USA.
Chapters of this story take a whole month to tell. This is May. It starts with twists and turns on the IMS road course for the GMR Grand Prix. Then PPG presents Armed Forces Indy 500 qualifying and the Firestone Fast 6 shootout. May continues with Indy's biggest party, Miller Lite Card Day. And all roads lead to the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500 presented by Gainbridge. This is where heroes become legends and legends become legendary. This is May. Buy now and save. Get tickets at IMS.com.
Well, Cody was 24 years old and he had a big sense of humor. Always liked to make people laugh.
Dennis DeMoss of Reith Riley Construction's son Cody was killed May 9th, 2014 while working in the Cone Zone.
Well, it was a normal day. Get dressed, drink coffee, and my phone rang. It was about 5:30. It was one of the workers on the road. Cody's been in an accident. He didn't make it. Someone come through the construction zone and hit two of our guys. I hung the phone up. My wife's standing right beside me, and our daughter, she was standing there. The hardest part was to tell them right then that our son just was dead. All of our people that's out there, they are moms and dads and brothers and sisters, and we want to go home too. We're not out there to inconvenience people. We're trying to make it better for everybody. Give us some space, let us do our work, and we'll be out of your way and move on.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals. Damon's Garden Center West has endless varieties of trees, shrubs, vegetables, flowers, hanging baskets, plus garden and landscape supplies, and a friendly and helpful staff at Damon's West on Rockville Road. Hubler makes it easy to get your perfect car or truck. Get your vehicle your way. They'll help you pre-order a vehicle built just for you. Visit drivehubler.com.
Receive 40% off all products, plus special manufacturer rebates and up to 20 months, no interest, no payments. Just go to bwindow.com. We'll take care of the rest.
Matt Baer has a look at the roads.
Boone to Clinton County northbound 65 is closed at State Road 47. It's a two semi-crash and fire that has shut down the interstate. And right now people are rerouting at State Road 47. Details at WIBC Traffic. I tell you the southbound lanes also stopped before State Road 28. That's Frankfort for about 3.5 miles. Traffic sponsored by B Windows. Celebrate B Windows' 40-year anniversary with 40% savings on all their products, plus manufacturer's rebates. Get 20 months, no interest, no payments. Trust B. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
80 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
Nigel Show. Also joining us live in studio, Casey Daniels from the Kendall and Casey Show here for the side piece. How are you?
I'm good.
I was getting gas earlier today. I didn't have. I turned off the radio briefly, and you had mentioned something about. I know. Sinful. My battery will drain if I don't get gas. But you guys were talking about Senate Bill 4. Tell me more about that, because that seemed very interesting to me.
Yeah. Okay. So the Indiana House voted on Monday 78-21 to approve Senate Bill 4, and in Senate Bill 4 is a provision to investigate the state's response to COVID-19, including the leadership of Eric Holcomb.
So I can save everybody a lot of time and money. It was bad.
Yeah.
Sincerely, Jason Allen Hammer, Esquire.
Investigation over.
Right. We just saved everybody a hell of a lot of time and money, and now they can focus on the property taxes.
Well, that's the thing. Isn't that interesting that obviously this investigation is going to take time and money? I understand both sides of this. Okay, so there's the one side that says we're about to pump in $220 million into public health, and we kind of need to do a review before we give all this money away. Let's see what worked, what didn't work, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, right?
Right.
So let's investigate to see what went well, what didn't go well. But at the same time, we all know what didn't go well. I mean, we've got a mental health crisis now. We have education scores are in the toilet, and an economic impact that we're still feeling and will continue to feel.
Suicide rates went up. Social skills went down.
Exactly. And the only thing that was left open were the liquor stores. I mean, what kind of picture did that send? Hey, you can't go visit your friends.
Can't go to church.
Can't go to church. You can't go to grandma's.
No funerals.
No funerals. You can't go to school. Oh, your high school graduation is canceled and you'll have it from your family room, but yet go down to the liquor store that's open and grab a bottle of booze. That's okay. I mean, we know what happened, so why are we spending time and money to investigate?
Yeah, right. And look at let's start with the schools. Of course, the schools. The kids should have been back. They were back in school in Europe within weeks, and our kids, fortunately, I guess it just depended on what kind of state you lived in. If it was a red state or a blue state, our kids should have been back within a month, and they lost months and months and months of their education.
Well, I wouldn't say red state, blue state, because I did live in 2 red states during the pandemic, and here in Indiana, under the leadership of Eric Holcomb, my daughter, and the entire graduating class of 2020, who they could call to testify, didn't have a graduation. I mean, literally, she did the tassel thing from our family room, and we watched on YouTube.
That's a memory she can never get back.
Somebody called out her name. No kidding. But in Florida...
You're right.
In Florida, when I was going back and forth between Indiana and Florida, my neighbor in the apartment complex, her 2 little girls were out every morning going and getting on the bus because school was open down there. So I don't think it is a red state, blue state thing. I think it was the leadership that you had within that state. And that right there is a great example of the difference between Ron DeSantis and Eric Holcomb.
But going back to this whole investigation, like, what's the end game? What's the point? You're going to spend all of this time on something that's not going to help Hoosiers right now.
Right.
You're not going to indict Eric Holcomb. What are you looking to do other than just give him a finger wag?
Well,
how much money and time are we going to invest on a finger wag where we all know what the problems were already?
Well, and by the time they get any results from the investigation or the study, guess what? He won't be in office anymore.
Right.
So we're going to give him a slap on the wrist. Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
Hammer, I do think it's important to highlight where people went wrong, though, where our public health establishment, our leadership went wrong. Like, to officially, in words and writing, recognize that what happened in this state was a travesty.
Right, but at the same time, if I told you tomorrow, all right, Nigel, you are in charge of our lawmakers. Do you want them to work on lowering your taxes, getting rid of the gas tax, working on property taxes, or figuring out why Holcomb was an idiot? Which one do you want them to work on?
Can you do both?
But here's the thing, guys. So it was 728 days that the governor had declared an emergency. March 6, 2020, all the way to March 3rd, 22. No point during that time did any of the Republican-controlled House say, nope, we're going to terminate this state of emergency. They had control. They had the majority. They had the chance to take that power away from Holcomb. They didn't do it. But now that the cloud of the pandemic is lifting and we're trying to move forward with our lives, now we're going to look back and say, oh, maybe we shouldn't have done that.
And more importantly, Holcomb's not running again, so these people don't have to sniff his butt anymore.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
Well, and you know what? His response was kind of like, kick rocks. I don't care what you say.
You write fun articles for the Side Piece. I love your blogs that you write at WIBC.com. They're called the Side Piece, which is why this segment is called as such. What are you working on?
Okay, so yesterday I put up online an article. Rob and I got into this conversation. Jim Banks recently tweeted out how he just received his honorable discharge papers from the Navy. And my point to Rob was, hey, no matter what you think of his politics, I think it's good to acknowledge anybody who's going to put on the uniform and serve our country.
Of course.
And that led to, I wonder how many Indiana lawmakers have ever served. Well, that is an extensive list if we go back to the year 1816. So I had to narrow it down and compiled a list of all of the former governors in our state who have ever served in any branch of the military or the reserves. Yeah, he's on the list. Holcomb did. So that's on there. But today I'm working on, I just saw a little tidbit that Indiana and I believe it's Kentucky are festival obsessed. Like we have more festivals in the state of Indiana than anywhere else in the country.
What about Festivus? Are we Festivus obsessed?
I love Seinfeld.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
Casey Daniels, the Kendall and Casey Show, every Monday through Friday, 9 to noon here at 93 WIBC. Casey, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Well, with the terrible storms that just swept through, we only recommend one company, and that's All-Star Roof Siding and More Incorporated. Hammer and Nigel here for All-Star, and you only have one chance to get it right with your insurance company. Tom Myers is the owner. He's going to be the one to come out to your house or business to evaluate the damage.
What I love about All-Star is that Tom Myers, the owner, he's going to be the guy that comes out to your house. He came out to my house, got up on the roof, bada bing, bada boom. He was in, he was out. It's that quick, it's that easy. Plus, All-Star has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and over 10 years partnering with WIBC, so you can feel confident that All-Star Roof Siding and More have the support of the Hammer and Nigel Show. Don't wait. Give Tom Myers and the gang a call today and get a free quote. 317-522-6409. That's 522-6409. AllStarRoofingSiding.com.
My name is Leroy Lewis III, and I'm a proud supporter of my wife, Maggie A. Lewis, who leads our family with a gentle heart and our community as a servant leader. Since becoming a member of the City County Council, I have watched her wake up every day before the sun rises, responding to emails and text messages from colleagues and constituents while looking out for the best interests of our son, Leroy Lewis IV, including driving him to school each and every day since he started kindergarten. We call our family Team Lewis, but Maggie believes all those she serves are members of Team Lewis as well. Her passion for helping others is why on May 2nd, Election Day, we need to re-elect Majority Leader Maggie Lewis to our City County Council. She's a leader who is prepared, experienced, and dedicated, and not to mention a great wife and awesome mom.
Hi, I'm Maggie Lewis. Your vote does make a difference. So let us hear from you on May 2nd. Paid for and authorized by Maggie Lewis Campaign. Peter O'Coffer, Treasurer.
Coming up in 2 minutes. It's been warm today, but you've got rain chances tomorrow. A 15-year-old arrested for having a rifle downtown and trouble behind bars for the boy arrested in the Noblesville school shooting. All that and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. Downtown, near 80 degrees and sunny right now. You're listening to 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
Another stay for the abortion pill. I'm Matt Napolitano, Fox News. The Supreme Court extending a lower court stay on access to mifepristone until this Friday.
The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals limited the drug's use last week after a district court judge revoked FDA approval. The new Supreme Court order puts the appeals court ruling on hold through Friday night, extending a previous order that would have expired today. At issue right now is whether the drug will face restrictions as federal lawsuits are being considered.
Fox's Jared Halpern reporting. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy laying out a plan to address the looming debt ceiling default, raising the limit but cutting government spending.
We can help more Americans earn a paycheck, learn new skills, reduce childhood poverty, and rebuild the workforce.
McCarthy also criticizing President Biden, suggesting he wants problems like inflation to just go away.
Inflation has been a global problem because of two things: a pandemic that disrupted these supply chains around the world, Putin's war in Ukraine, which disrupted energy supplies and food supplies, causing the price of everything from eggs to wheat to go up. We have a lot more to do, but inflation has been coming down 9 months in a row.
President Biden speaking from a union hall in Maryland today. A federal judge says she will rule promptly on a request by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg to block a congressional subpoena for testimony of former prosecutor Mark Pomerantz that resulted in criminal charges against former President Donald Trump. Meantime, former Trump Organization CFO Alan Weisselberg has been released from a New York prison after serving roughly 4 months for his role in a decade-long tax fraud scheme. A mixed day on Wall Street. The Dow dips by 79 points. The S&P just about flat, while the Nasdaq ends the session up 4 points. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Another change in your forecast. 79 degrees, sunny in downtown Indianapolis. Mostly clear skies tonight. Some clouds could move in later with the low dropping to about 58. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. Warm temperatures, a risk for fires and rain. All of those things are in play Thursday in Indiana. John Herrick reports.
With highs near 80 across the state for Thursday, Andrew White with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says you should be on the lookout for humidity too.
Yeah, humidity is going to be a little dry today, but not quite as bad as it's going to be tomorrow.
Same with the wind gusts Thursday, which he says could reach 40 miles an hour at times, so he thinks it's best for you to not burn anything while you're outside. Rain could be heavy too, especially late Thursday night into Friday morning. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A 15-year-old boy accused of having a rifle during a disturbance at a downtown intersection has been arrested. Police said the suspect was spotted around 11 p.m. Saturday at Illinois and Maryland streets before running away and being found hiding in a parking garage between a couple of cars. A discarded rifle was found underneath another car. IMPD says the boy faces charges of possessing a firearm and possessing weed. When he was 13, he shot his classmates and teacher at Noblesville West Middle School. Now, the shooter may have assaulted someone in prison.
And prosecutors want to keep the shooter behind bars while they investigate. I'm Parker Carlson. A Hamilton County judge says that when the shooter is legally an adult, he can be released to house arrest. But in a Wednesday hearing, prosecutors brought up a new case against the shooter, saying he assaulted someone while in prison. The judge decided to keep the shooter behind bars as the case continues. Parker Carlson, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
If you look around Whiteland, you'd see the debris from countless buildings destroyed by tornadoes. But what you can't see is the emotional damage done to the residents.
There are some folks that can't talk about it yet at all. But it's one of those things we'll have to learn to live with.
Resident Teresa Young talking to Wish TV. Whiteland says it'll take about a year to rebuild the town, but it might take a lifetime for residents to feel safe again. Traffic and weather's next. Your time is 4:04.
Indiana has a long history of pioneering education freedom and empowering families who know what's best for their children. But as universal education freedom sweeps the nation in states like Iowa, Arizona, Arkansas, West Virginia, Utah, and Florida, Hoosiers are at risk of being left behind unless we act now. Indiana lawmakers have an opportunity to ensure all Hoosiers can exercise their right to decide what education is best for their child, where they learn, how they learn. The time is now for Indiana to regain its status as a leader by delivering universal access to education freedom for every Hoosier. The time is now for Indiana to ensure our children get the education they deserve. so they can compete with every state in America and every country around the globe. Contact your state senator today and tell them now is the time to put our kids first and pass universal school choice. Paid for by Yes Every Kid.
With traffic on the 5s at 4:05, here's Matt Baer.
Northbound 65 shut down in Clinton County, north of Lebanon, north of State Road 47. Details at WIBC Traffic. Eastbound 70 slow into downtown from Tibbs Avenue to Meridian, Illinois. And Southside eastbound 465 slowing down from Man Road over to the White River. Traffic sponsored by Summit Racing. Summit Racing has parts and accessories to keep your truck rolling right. From custom grills to tonneau covers, Summit Racing has you covered. SummitRacing.com, everything you need for anything you drive. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
For tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, low temperature of 57 degrees. Tomorrow, clouds will increase. Temperature does get to 80 degrees for a high, wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos? So let's rock it!
This audio is amazing. I can't. Can you play that off your computer over there, Hammer?
I think so.
I'll let you set it up. There's a House committee hearing going on right now, and Democrats are just all up in arms. Far left Democrat Rep Eric Swalwell versus Marjorie Taylor Greene.
This is pay-per-view worthy stuff here. On one side, you've got Fartwell, Eric Swalwell, the representative of California. On the other side, you've got Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of the biggest targets for the left in this country there is. So the topic of policing in this nation was being discussed. So Eric Swalwell, he's got these big, poster boards up, and he's showing them to the committee about how the Republicans wanted to defund the police. And his example was a tweet that Marjorie Taylor Greene had put out in the past calling for a defunding of the FBI, because she thought the FBI was corrupt at the top level.
Yeah.
So from there, let's pick up a little of the conversation here, shall we?
I'm also concerned about people on this committee and their own anti-police rhetoric. This is a defund the FBI campaign effort.
That was quite entertaining from someone that had a sexual relationship with a Chinese spy, and everyone knows it.
I move to take her words down.
She's laughing at him.
Oh, that's
completely inappropriate.
Yeah, stand by just a second while we research the rule.
So
give me
delicious.
just a second. The chair recognizes the gentlelady from Georgia and asks if she would like to retract those words.
No, I will not.
I mean, that's amazing. So Swalwell, got compromised by a Chinese spy, Fang Fang, and was still allowed to serve on the House Intel Committee until Republicans took over and McCarthy booted him and Schiff off that committee.
And the thing that really probably sticks in Swalwell's crawl, if you will, not only the fact that MTG brought it up, but she says everybody knows it. That's the thing that drives him nuts. Because even when you watch shows like Tucker, they've got special graphics on the screen. Eric Swalwell, the spy that shagged me, and they photoshopped his face on like Austin Powers' body. This is what he's going to be known for. Let that sink in. Here's a guy that ran a presidential campaign and farted on national television. He's not going to be known for any of those things. He's going to be known as the guy that hooked up with Fang Fang, the Chinese spy, and was on the Intel Committee.
Wow, that is hilarious. They gave, like Marjorie Taylor Greene was like, you know what, on second thought, I take it back. Yeah, I would strike that from the record, please. Sure.
The only way that would have been any better is if Marjorie Taylor Greene says, you know what, I take that back. I can't confirm Fang Fang was a woman. Nobody here knows what a woman is anymore. I can't confirm or deny Fang Fang was a woman. Maybe we should ask our Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Drown Jackson, as Joe Biden once called her. Big day today here in the state of Indiana, Nige.
Wow.
FEMA workers going door to door to help out the victims of that big tornado outbreak on March 31st.
Yeah, did we talk to the mayor?
We talked to the mayor of Sullivan. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So the following neighborhoods throughout Allen, Benton, Clinton, Grant, Howard, Johnson, Lake, Monroe, Morgan, Owen, Sullivan, and White counties, they've got FEMA disaster assistance teams going door to door to help people fill out the paperwork and explain to them the next steps to basically get funding for the home repairs, temporary housing, any sort of property damage issues.
Yeah, I do believe that victims there from those tornadoes were granted an extension on their taxes as well. But yeah, that was a devastating line of tornadoes. That storm decimated those areas.
And it was all throughout different parts of Indiana, from southern Indiana to central, even a little bit up north by the region area. That was a bad outbreak.
Remember, we talked to the mayor of Sullivan a couple of weeks ago, right after it happened, and he said, and this is a positive thing, he basically had to turn away volunteers rushing to help the people that were in need because they had enough already, and everybody was being taken care of.
Right.
Which I think says a lot about, Hoosier hospitality.
And on this program, just kind of a spur-of-the-moment deal that we did, the awesome listeners and the amazing community that listened to WIBC, we raised, I think when it was all said and done, over $20,000 to help out Hoosiers in need. And that type of money going to organizations like the Red Cross and Salvation Army, they can do so much. They can stretch those dollars out so far. So that was an amazing thing that the listeners of this radio program did. So thank you for that. But no good deed goes unpunished. Be careful if you live in one of these counties, don't get scammed, right?
Oh, yeah.
FEMA put out a reminder that team members will be wearing official FEMA attire and have federal photo ID badges. So don't just be giving people your information, your social security number, your credit card numbers if they come knocking on a door without the proper information.
Unfortunately, there's a big reason why scammers still do the things that they do, either over the telephone or in person, because people fall for it. You can make a lot of money being a shady bastard. You know
Especially
what I mean?
the elderly folks,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
They fall for that stuff pretty easily. They might not know any better. But again, if somebody comes knocking on your door and he's got a wife beater on, like mustard stains all over it, greasy hair, hasn't shaved, and he wrote with a Sharpie FEMA across his shirt, do not give that person your social security or credit card information, whatever you do. So last night, Nige, was night number 2 of Tucker Carlson's big sit down with Elon Musk. And even though like the big topics everybody was interested in was night number 1, I thought last night was better than night number 1 because we talked about aliens. We talked about aliens last night. And
really, I missed it. I watched the new episode of Succession on HBO and just kind of, I lost interest in the whole Elon Musk thing. But if you're telling me this is better than even the first night.
This was better than the first night.
All right.
So, of course, the $1 million question, Elon Musk, do you, out of anybody on earth that would know the answer to this question, do you have any sort of evidence that there are aliens among us?
A lot of people ask me, where are the aliens? And I think if anyone would know about aliens on Earth, it would probably be me.
I would think.
Yeah, I'm, very familiar with space stuff.
Space stuff.
And I've seen no evidence of aliens.
Oh, man.
Bummer. Wah, wah, wah.
Although maybe that's a blessing. We're saying bummer, but we're not going to be invaded by aliens. Maybe that's a good thing. But yeah, maybe. I was kind of hoping he'd give you, well, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but Area 51, they got tons of them out there.
Although invaded by aliens might not be so bad if it takes over for Joe Biden.
Oh, man.
I actually prefer that over this current president.
I think, honestly, this is my personal opinion. We've had alien visitors, and they've said, take me to your leader. And then Joe Biden walks out with pudding all over his face, his pants down to his ankles, and they said, there's no intelligent life here, and they left. That's what happened. You don't want to see my hairy legs? Come back. They're flying off in their flying saucer. The topic of AI came up again last night, and Elon Musk was asked when artificial intelligence will start to change our society.
I know you've been talking about this for years, and on the sort of the periphery of our attention, we've heard Elon Musk talking about AI. But for most people, it's been like 3 months since they've had any interaction with this at all. So what's the timeline here? At what point does it start to really change our society, do you think?
I think it starts to have probably an impact this year. GPT-4, now it's like writing poetry. And
pretty decent poetry, actually.
Pretty decent. Its skill at rhyming is incredible.
Yes. Yes. And it's coherent.
Yes, it is. It's even got a narrative.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So you could say
that's hard to do.
Like most humans can't do that.
That's true.
So it's already past the point of what most humans can do. Most humans cannot write as well as ChatGPT. And no human can write that well, that fast, as to the best of my knowledge. So maybe Shakespeare.
So basically, at the end of this year, you're going to see the AI really ramp up and change the way a lot of things work in our society.
But what about the left-wing ideologue tech nerds that are actually programming the AI?
Well, you heard last night, Google wanted a digital god to exist, where basically all things AI run through that.
Okay.
And when Elon said, man, that may be a bad idea, he was called a speciest. How dare you stick up for your species, you speciest? My favorite speciest is Matt Baer, and he's standing by with a look at the roads.
You're damn straight. Looking at northbound 65 right now. Closure up in Clinton County, north of Lebanon. Northbound 65 closed at State Road 47. And guys, Lebanon is just an absolute mess right now. 47's a mess. The whole area is an absolute zoo. People trying to get onto US 52. It's going to take some time and a whole lot of patience. Check at WIBC traffic for reroutes. Eastbound 72 downtown, stop and go. Tibbs into Meridian, Illinois. Traffic sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop the spring savings sale Grand Appliance for unbeatable prices, extra savings, and fast professional delivery. Learn more at grandappliance.com. Grand Appliance, expert since 1930. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Alien comes down, says, take me to your leader. Joe Biden walks out, looks at the alien. You ain't an alien. Walks right back in the White House. 79 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Is this anything? Next.
So when you're a homeowner, lots of stuff to be worried about concerning your home, whether or not your driveway is going to last another season. Maybe you got to reseal that back deck. But if you're an American Standard furnace and air conditioner owner, you don't have to be worried about your heating and cooling. If you need American Standard service, Hammer's going to tell you who you should check out.
How about Reinhardt Heating and Cooling in Danville? Danny Reinhardt started Reinhardt Heating and Cooling 37 years ago. They are one of the longest tenured American Standard dealers in all of Central Indy. Danny's sons and daughter are among the well-trained experts that are on staff at Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Reinhardt Heating and Cooling serve Hendricks and the surrounding counties to make sure your air conditioner is operating and ready to go for what could be a hot summer ahead. Call Reinhardt in Danville. Ask them about their indoor air quality service as well. 317-745-4526. That's Reinhardt Heating and Cooling in Danville. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Spring has sprung and the sky's floodgates have opened. If you have a clogged pipe, who to call is a no-drainer. Call my friends at Hope Plumbing. They're the experts in the industry and trustworthy plumbers who care about your health and safety of your home. During the month of April, Hope is offering a $49 mainline cleaning with a free camera inspection. Stop the gurgling pipes and don't stress over all those tree roots in your yard. Call Hope Plumbing today and schedule your $49 mainline cleaning.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password,
for you to become a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions. But everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to LifeLock.com.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any.
Trading in or selling your car, truck, or SUV? WeBuyAnyCar.com takes the hassle out of selling in 3 easy steps. 1. Get a free online valuation. 2. Drive to your local car buying center. And 3. Walk out with a check in about an hour. So don't wait. Get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Find out how much your car's worth at We Buy Any Car.
Dr. Trudy Fleer here with the 5G Home Recovery Podcast. Let's talk about mobile users getting priority over T-Mobile home internet users, shall we? You don't know them. Why should they take your internet? I get it. We're raised to share, but always coming in second, paying to be taken advantage of? No thank you. With Xfinity, there's only one priority, and that is YOU. So come on, people, say yes to Xfinity. Learn more at xfinity.com/TMOFax.
Now through April 23rd, new customers can get started with 200 megabit per second Xfinity Internet with Wi-Fi equipment included. It's all just $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract. Or learn more about speeds up to a gig. That's up to 36 times faster than T-Mobile home internet. Go to xfinity.com/TMOFax, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
Come into Bell Tire today. You'll get the lowest tire price, period. Like $70 off a set of 4 Michelin tires. You'll also get a guy who will give you free lifetime flat repairs, tire rotations, and alignment checks. Get $70 off a set of 4 Michelin tires. Plus more free services and more out of your tires and more for your money. It's how we make the lowest tire price feel even lower at Bell Tire. See store and belltire.com for details and offer expiration.
There's nothing more important than time. Time for you and time for family. If issues like high blood pressure or high cholesterol run in your family, make time for highly skilled heart care too. At Indiana University Health, you can book a same-day appointment with the state's most preferred provider of cardiovascular care. See a top cardiologist today, then get back to what's most important without skipping a beat. Visit iuhealth.org/heart to book your appointment today.
Did you know the air you breathe in comes directly from your crawl space? Do you even know what's in your crawl space? Hi, I'm Adam Swain with Swainco Crawl Space and Basement Repair, Indy's most trusted, award-winning experts. A dry, healthy crawl space protects the health of your family and your greatest asset, your home. Transform your problem crawl space into a dry, healthy, energy-saving crawl space today and call the real, local, family-owned crawl space experts. Swainco Crawl Space and Basement Repair, 317-407-1868 or SwaincoLLC.com.
When someone you love is the victim of a wrongful death, it's a terrible tragedy. What's also a tragedy? When the insurance company doesn't want to pay what you deserve for your loss and suffering. I'm attorney Darryl Isaacs, the Hammer, founder of Isaacs & Isaacs Personal Injury Lawyers. We've recovered over $1 billion for our clients, including a recent $10 million wrongful death jury award. There are strict time limits to file a wrongful death claim, so please go to WeWin.com for your free case evaluation.
Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indy Decorative Concrete patio. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts, changing the way Indy thinks about concrete.
Hubler makes it easy to get your perfect car or truck. Get your vehicle your way. They'll help you pre-order a vehicle built just for you. Visit drivehubler.com.
This hour is powered by Dammons West, Indiana's most complete garden center.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
Hammer, how do we play Is This Anything?
I'll run some stories by you. You tell us if the stories in question are really anything or not. Something we should worry about, have more discussion about, or if it's a big nothing burger and we all move on with our lives. Okay. Is this anything? Andy Owen, the CEO of Miller Knoll, which is this high-end furniture company.
Oh, yeah.
Miller Knoll.
I know where this is going.
A clip of her doing an online chat with employees has gone viral because she's scolding them about complaining about not getting bonuses. But there's some chatter that she has received millions of dollars in bonuses.
Questions came through about how can we stay motivated if we're not going to get a bonus. Some of them were nice and some of them were not so nice. So I'm going to address this head on. Don't ask about what are we going to do if we don't get a bonus. Get the damn $26 million. Spend your time and your effort thinking about the $26 million we need and not thinking about what you're going to do if we don't get a bonus. All right? I had an old boss who said to me one time, you can visit Pity City, but you can't live there. So people, leave Pity City. Let's get it done. Thank you. Have a great day.
Or how about you leave Miller Knoll?
Right.
Which is what I would have done if my CEO was talking to me like that. That's how you get people motivated? Is by telling them to leave Pity City. Don't worry about your bonus. Shut up and do your job. Quit asking me about it. By the way, I received $1.29 million in bonuses. That's official numbers according to the Securities and Exchange Commission. Wow. Yeah, big middle finger to her. Shut up. Like,
how dare you think about your own income? Get your quota and shut your mouth.
I mean, there's probably a better way she could have put that. Hey, look, we're doing our best. We could have never predicted COVID. We're going to try to hit our goals. I'm going to do the best I can. I can't guarantee anything. And that's me, who has no sense of business whatsoever. I mean, if I could come up with something very basic like that, and of course the company released a statement saying this was taken out of context.
Oh, every time somebody gets busted saying something stupid, it was taken out of context. Like all those parents, that were complaining about what they saw on Jesse Waters' show, those schools in Goshen and Elkhart and Plainfield admitting, we totally teach CRT. We just call it something else. And then the school's coming out, well, it was taken out of context. No, it wasn't.
It's a 30-second clip. They said everything they needed to say in 30 seconds.
They destroyed the narrative in 30 seconds that they were fair and balanced. So, yeah, that's something for sure. I'm with you.
Yes.
How about this? Is this anything? During a recent interview with Bill Maher, Metallica's Lars Ulrich told the story of how excited Metallica was to open up shows for the Rolling Stones. It was about 20-something years ago, and they were asked not to do something backstage.
We were fortunate enough to get asked to play with the Stones. So they're playing a couple shows in San Francisco and then asked if we would play with them. So we're sitting backstage, and at one point, a personal assistant or whatever comes, and says, Mick Jagger's going to walk through here in a couple minutes. He's going over to his private gym in his truck, and he's going to warm up before the show. When he walks through here, please don't make eye contact with him or talk to him. Or we used to laugh a lot at those things. And
when did he walk through and you did that and didn't look? You must have talked to him at some point.
So we got our picture taken with the Stones.
But that's the extent of your...
That was the extent of it.
Not allowed to look at Mick Jagger, even if you're an established, high-profile band like Metallica. Even 20 years ago, they were still huge. I mean, multi-millionaire several times over, tens of millions of records sold, and you're still not allowed to look at Mick Jagger, even though you're on tour with him. Didn't you have some experience like that with the rock star?
Prince,
that's right.
Do not look at Prince. Do not talk to Prince, because... This was at Birdie's, right? Have you ever been to that place on the north side? I think it's Birdie's.
It's no longer Birdie's. It's the wing place. KSR is going to take over there, I believe.
Okay. So Prince liked to do these shows after his shows. So he did this big event. I think it was at the Muroff Theater at the time. And it really wasn't the hits. It was a lot of crap, honestly. But after shows, Prince would play various... probably not a term of endearment, but like dive bars. And he would just walk in and surprise people, play like 3 or 4 songs and leave. So I was at this place at WZPL. We were there for something else. And late night, there started to be rumors. Prince is coming. We heard rumors Prince might be here. It's like, man, so I got to stick around. So like midnight rolls around, 12:30. Here comes Prince.
Cool.
And like the staff, I was talking to the staff, and they said their instructions were, do not look at Prince, do not talk to Prince. He came out on the stage, he played Let's Go Crazy, 2 other songs, and he left.
All right. I think that's kind of crappy, though. I don't care how big time you are. Like Metallica says, they go out on tour now, and they bring like the opening acts with them, and Lars goes to every one of the smaller opening acts and shakes their hands and says hi, and if you need anything, let me know. How do you get to that then become like Mick Jagger, who's still doing it at 80, by the way, for Rolling Stones. But you're not allowed to look at Mick Jagger. Don't talk to Mick Jagger, and we'll give you a quick picture with him at the end of the tour.
All I know is I got to see Let's Go Crazy at a small bar.
That's pretty cool.
And that's pretty cool. It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
Storm season is coming, and storms in Indiana can be brutal. And your siding defends your home from the forces of the wind and the rain, so you want to make sure your home is protected with the best roofing and siding possible. You need Moss Roofing because they use high-quality James Hardie siding, and it withstands our Indiana weather. This fiber cement siding is strong and actually mimics traditional siding options. Moss Roofing installs James Hardie siding to help ensure your home's exterior is attractive for years to come. And Moss Roofing has got you covered in every way. They believe in honesty, integrity, and quality service, and they do great work right here in Central Indiana. Your roofing, your siding, insulation, all of it installed and priced perfectly with Moss Roofing. Contact Moss Roofing at MOSS, mossroofing.com, or call 317-747-3665. 317-747-3665 or online at Moss, MOSS, mossroofing.com, and tell them Tony Cat sent you.
For the first time ever since opening its doors, the Indianapolis Men's Clinic is now the only men's health organization offering an intimacy guarantee. That's right. If you don't perform, you don't pay. You heard that right. Restoring intimacy is important to everyone. Helping men with a proven solution is what drives success. That's why the Indianapolis Men's Clinic stands by their intimacy guarantee. Now you will have the assurance and confidence of proven outcomes without the fear of financial loss. By using the latest technology for the treatment of ED, acoustic wave therapy uses pressure waves to open existing blood vessels, which restores spontaneity and intimacy for you and your loved one. Stop trusting companies that feed you empty promises with no results. Trust an intimacy guarantee. Trust the Indianapolis Men's Clinic. Call the Indianapolis Men's Clinic today. 317-999-9000. That's 317-999-9000 or IndianapolisMen'sClinic.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Getting in trouble behind bars. Sunny with temperatures near 80 on Monument Circle. You've got a clear radar too. Low temperatures tonight dropping to the upper 50s. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:32. When he was 13, he shot his classmates and teacher at Noblesville West Middle School. Now, the shooter may have assaulted someone in prison.
And prosecutors want to keep the shooter behind bars while they investigate. I'm Parker Carlson. A Hamilton County judge says that when the shooter is legally an adult, he can be released to house arrest. But in a Wednesday hearing, prosecutors brought up a new case against the shooter, saying he assaulted someone while in prison. The judge decided to keep the shooter behind bars as the case continues. Parker Carlson, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The crash between two semis on I-65 in Clinton County is going to have the northbound lanes of the interstate closed for a while. Matt Bear's going to have more on that delay in a few minutes from the WIBC Traffic Center. Rain supposed to fall in Indiana, not today, but later.
We're going to have storms moving in late in the afternoon tomorrow, but most of it's going to be falling during the overnight hours tomorrow night.
Andrew White with the National Weather Service says there's a small chance for severe weather across Indiana Thursday and Friday. Temperatures are also supposed to cool down through the weekend. 4 Tennessee mayors are asking state lawmakers to pass legislation that would reduce gun violence. Mayors from Nashville, Shelby County, Knoxville, and Chattanooga sent a letter asking legislators to support stricter gun laws and include suggestions like requiring more background checks and gun storage laws. The average price for a gallon of gas in Indiana today, $3.68 per gallon, according to GasBuddy.com, down 3 cents from where it was Monday. A look at stocks today. The Dow dropping 79 points to 33,897. The NASDAQ up by 3 to 12,157. The S&P 500 down less than a point, closing today at 4,154. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:34.
Indianapolis is the crossroads of America,
the crown jewel of the Midwest.
I'm Jefferson Shreve. I grew up in Perry Township on the south side. I've stayed pretty close to home. Indianapolis, Indiana is my home. The first part of my life was focused on growing a business. And in doing that, I've done some good. Employed quite a few people.
But with a crumbling infrastructure and record-breaking crime, can we still say Indy is a jewel of a city?
I think sadly, we've had better, shinier, happier days in our past than we are at today.
Jefferson Shreve has a plan. Hire more police, give them the support they need, and let them do their job. Because we don't have to live like this.
Strong leaders can pull people into a cause and motivate them.
What Indy needs now is a leader with a plan.
I'm Jefferson Shreve, and I need your vote for Mayor of Indianapolis.
Paid for by Shreve for Mayor.
But traffic at 4:35. Here's Matt Bear.
Harrison, you were talking about the crash and closure in Boone, Clinton counties, and northbound 65 is shut down north of State Road 47. Traffic being diverted at State Road 47. According to NDOT dispatch, this could be a closure lasting 8 to 12 hours. Southbound lanes also shut down at State Road 28 because of the crash in the northbound lanes, and southbound backed up for about 2 miles. The whole area is a mess. Stay out if you can. Crash. It is westbound 70 on the ramp to Keystone. Ramp is open. Traffic sponsored by B Windows. Celebrate B Windows' 40-year anniversary with 40% savings on all their products. Plus manufacturer's rebates. Get 20 months, no interest, no payments. Trust me. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And a forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
For tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, low temperature of 57 degrees. Tomorrow, clouds will increase. Temperature does get to 80 degrees for a high, wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Crime, punishment, judges, legal stuff.
So a mailman in Pennsylvania doesn't want to work on Sundays, taking his case all the way up to the Supreme Court.
Fight the power.
So this guy's name's Gerald Groff. He's a postal worker.
Is he disgruntled?
Let's hope not.
Do they still get disgruntled? Because that was a big thing back in the 80s.
There was some disgruntled postal workers. Going postal.
Yes.
Was a term.
That's where that came from.
So the United States Postal Service delivers Amazon packages on Sunday. They're contracted to deliver Amazon and UPS on Sundays. But he's claiming it conflicts with his Christian beliefs. He wants the Sabbath off every Sunday. And his managers were forced to find substitutes anytime he was scheduled for a Sunday. Low morale issues, tense working environments is what they're claiming. And now the dude resigned in 2019 and filed a religious discrimination case. So you see what's going on here. So what I did was I texted the official mailman of the Hammer and Nigel show, who's a mail carrier in Brownsburg. And I said, what do you think about this guy? It's going to the Supreme Court once Sunday's off. Quote, let me find the text here. Okay, here it is. Quote, F that guy. If he wants Sundays off, go work at Chick-fil-A.
The official mailman of the Hammer and Nigel show.
Look, I mean, he wants... if you want Christmas off or Yom Kippur off or some Muslim holiday off once a year, that's one thing. But you kind of know this going into the gig.
Right.
Although the United States Postal Service is not always delivered for Amazon, so maybe he got the job before they started requiring you to work some Sundays, not all Sundays, but he feels this is a religious discrimination case.
So you kind of know that when you choose that line of work, though, right?
Well, but
you don't hear NFL players going, I can't believe you want me to play on Sundays. Sundays of all days.
It's the Sabbath. I got to go to church. But it wasn't always like that at the post office where they were contracted. But I believe it was a bad deal they signed with Amazon. They still, I think, lose money delivering packages for them and UPS. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I mean, once a year, twice a year, fine. But you want the hassle of every Sunday?
Right.
That's supposed to be religious discrimination. I'm sorry, I disagree with it.
Now, in the story, you said that they found somebody to work for him on Sundays, right? Well, then what's the problem?
Anytime he was scheduled to work Sunday, they would sometimes schedule him to work Sunday. They would have to find substitutes, which were often, from what I understand in the article, not that easy to do.
Okay, but if he still didn't have to work it, if the employer was like, okay, we're going to find a substitute. It's going to be a pain in the butt. I wish you would work, but we'll find a substitute. What's he bitching about?
Well, the management saying it caused morale issues, caused a tense working environment, and that was what's caused him to resign and file the religious discrimination.
Can you read the response from the official mailman of the Hammer and Nigel show just one more time, please? Because I feel like this is the voice of reason that Central Indiana needs.
It's from my buddy Justin, longtime mail carrier in Brownsburg, since he was, for 22 years now, I believe. Quote, let me find the exact word. Quote, F that guy. If he wants Sundays off, go work at Chick-fil-A.
Okay, just want to make sure we had that correct.
He says, by the way, the official mailman says that usually it's part-time people that are working on the Sunday. Like he doesn't, like he's a full-time mail carrier, and he doesn't have to usually work on Sundays except sometimes during the holidays.
So he's like Ric Flair walking around that place.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He doesn't do anything he doesn't want to, make the underlings work for you, then look at them and go, woo, and walk out the door and enjoy a full weekend.
Man, he'll be retired in another, he's younger than I am. I think he's like 45, and he's been doing it since he was 20. So, he's got work another 8 to 10 years. I don't know when the retirement age is for them, but, it depends on how many years you've been working there, and he could retire.
Hey, raise your hand if you want to hear a story about a human turd. Anybody? Allison's got her hand up. All right.
Nah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm outvoted then.
Alec Baldwin's going to return to the movie set Rust tomorrow as they resume the filming of that movie that halted after he killed a woman.
Isn't he still facing charges?
Well, yes. So the conditions of Alec Baldwin working on this set, and again, this has been since October 21st of 2021. So we're going on a year and a half here. Alec Baldwin pleaded not guilty after waiving his right to a first court appearance. His conditions prohibit him from possessing firearms or dangerous weapons. The actor is not allowed to consume alcohol, which I don't think is a problem for Baldwin.
I think he's sober.
Yeah, he's been sober for a while. Baldwin's contact with potential witnesses in the Rust case is limited as well. He's not allowed to discuss the incident with anybody on the set. He's only allowed to contact people on the set in the capacity of work-related or business-related matters pertaining to finishing or filming of the movie.
Could you imagine working on that set and being a friend of the cinematographer that died, Helena Hutchins, and then having to go back to the set and work with the guy that shot her and who's not really taking any responsibility for it whatsoever? He actually said he's the one. He's not the one that killed her. You had the gun in your hand.
Right. You pointed the gun and it went off and it killed Helena Hutchins.
I don't even know how they would move on with this movie. Wouldn't you shut down production of this movie? And just cut your losses? I think he's an executive producer on it, I believe.
Right. He doesn't want to lose money because he's going to need some legal fees.
Dude, who would want to go back and work in that environment?
It sounded like it was kind of a low-budget film anyway. And Helena Hutchins, the woman ultimately shot, she was like an up-and-comer. Like, everybody said she was really great at what she was doing, but she was going to be a star. She hadn't quite got there yet. And unfortunately, Alec Baldwin killed her. And I will say it again. I've said it before. Alec Baldwin has killed more people than anybody that stormed into the Capitol on January 6th. Dateline Philadelphia, Nige. We're doing some legal stuff here.
All right.
The Philadelphia pizza delivery man is getting all types of praise because he tripped a suspected car thief who was running from the police. So this criminal running from the cops, the quick acting pizza guy puts his leg out there, trips him, Here is Tyler Morrell talking about why he decided to help the police and stop the thief.
I honestly feel like I did what anybody else would do. I stuck my leg out and caught a pretty nasty bruise on it, but it is what it is. I'll survive. We were high-fiving, honestly. We were celebrating together a little bit, but I felt good about it, and I think they were happy to have an extra hand or foot to help them out, you know?
Oh, this guy that was running from the police is going to sue him now. You just know something like that. Some lawyers, some corrupt person's going to try to make this into something that it's not.
He ended up having a bruise on his leg, and then that bruise developed into something else, and it's going to be $1 million legal fee they're going to try to hit the pizza guy with.
Yeah. Look, pizza delivery, man, is a dangerous job in this day and age.
We
just had a incident here a couple of weeks ago where a pizza delivery driver lost his life because a criminal either carjacked him or robbed him or something like that. And it's not an easy job. It's not every time a pizza delivery driver drops something off of my door, the words I say are thank you and please be careful tonight.
And tip that dude or woman, whoever's delivering your pizza, because, again, there's a lot of pieces of crap that won't tip. In addition to it being somewhat of a dangerous job, sometimes they get sent to addresses that don't exist, where they're trying to trap you or set you up. You got hillbillies that complain, well, I can't believe it's been 35 minutes. You said it'd be 30, and they don't tip. Those people are the worst. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
The once-a-year jewelry event everyone waits for is here. Starting Friday, Diamonds Direct takes value to a whole new level with an extra 20% savings on just about everything. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and more. You get Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable price, plus an extra 20% off. Thousands of engagement ring mountings included. Plus, acclaimed jewelry designers will be in store with an expanded selection. All the latest styles and trends, all on sale. It doesn't get any better than this. Diamonds Direct store-wide spring event starting Friday. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
Hey, Singer Financial is now Howard Bailey Financial, and they are helping people with their retirement goals. If you want to retire with purpose, if you want to have time to enjoy life and navigate the complexities of retirement, it's Howard Bailey Financial.
What's your vision of retirement? Is it a work optional lifestyle? Or is it full-on retirement? You don't want to work anymore. You're going to live the sweet life. Where do you want to live? Do you want to stay in Indy? Do you want to move somewhere warm? Whatever the case may be, let the team at Howard Bailey create a plan specifically for you. It's your retirement. They will customize a plan for you. And the Howard Bailey team, they're growing. They've got a youthful, energetic founder, and they have a cutting-edge planning process designed to help you live your best life in retirement. Go see the Howard Bailey difference. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities, LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Your husband is pretty handy to have around. He makes the world's best mac and cheese.
Lunch is ready.
He's in the Tickle Monster Hall of Fame. And he can teach anyone how to throw strikes. But a busted pipe in a basement full of water?
Honey, I think we need a plumber.
Is a little out of his league. That's where a homeowner's policy from Shelter Insurance comes in handy. We'll help get your house back in order and your husband back to what he does best.
Find an agent at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
This is Scott Willis running for mayor of Westfield. As a colonel in the United States Marines, I stood up for our country, our families, and our values. As mayor, I have the leadership and vision to make Westfield a world-class city. How do we build a world-class city without losing the qualities we love? We do it with transparency, integrity, and smart leadership. I am a lifelong Republican. I'll work to diversify our tax base and to lower residential taxes. On Election Day, experience matters. I'm Scott Willis, and I'd be honored to have your vote.
Paid for
by Willis for Westfield.
Well, Cody was 24 years old, and he had a big sense of humor. Always liked to make people laugh.
Dennis DeMoss of Reith Riley Construction's son Cody was killed May 9th, 2014 while working in the Cone Zone.
Well, it was a normal day. Get dressed, drink coffee, and my phone rang. It was about 5:30. It was one of the workers on the road. Cody's been in an accident. He didn't make it. Someone come through the construction zone and hit two of our guys. I hung the phone up. My wife's standing right beside me, and our daughter, she was standing there. The hardest part was to tell them right then that our son just was dead. All of our people that's out there, they are moms and dads and brothers and sisters, and we want to go home too. We're not out there to inconvenience people. We're trying to make it better for everybody. Give us some space, let us do our work, and we'll be out of your way and move on.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals. Damon's Garden Center West has endless varieties of trees, shrubs, vegetables, flowers, hanging baskets, plus garden and landscape supplies, and a friendly and helpful staff at Damon's West on Rockville Road.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for plenty of advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and foundation, life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
40% savings on all of our products, plus manufacturer's rebates, and 20 months, no interest, no payments. Go to bwindow.com.
Nigel, this question is to you before we go to Matt Baer. Right. Jan writes at Hammer and Nigel on Twitter, can the mailman get his own segment?
Well, the last time he was on with us, I think he almost got fired.
We ran out of time in the dump button. There's only a limited amount of time you can dump somebody out for swearing. We almost ran out of it. So, unfortunately, the answer is no. But maybe one day there'll be a website exclusive that we can present. All right, Matt Baer, what's going on?
Boone into Clinton County's northbound 65, closed at State Road 47. The southbound lanes also closed near the Lebanon Rest area because of a double semi-crash and fire. One person was taken to the hospital, and right now the whole area is a mess. We're talking about US 52, both directions around State Road 47. You can find details at WIBC Traffic. Traffic sponsored by B Windows. Celebrate B Windows' 40-year anniversary with 40% savings on all of their products. Plus manufacturer's rebates. Get 20 months, no interest, no payments. Trust me. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
81 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
So Netflix is shutting down its DVD by mail business in September. They're going all streaming.
That's how they kind of cut their teeth in the business,
right,
mailing out stuff.
25 years for Netflix? Does it seem like it's been that long? Let's go back in time when they introduced the idea, and over a pretty short amount of time, they drove Blockbuster out of business. This commercial had, I believe this old Netflix commercial had customers trying to return overdue videos to a closed video store.
There's a better way to rent movies. As many as you want for just $20 a month, and no late fees. Go to Netflix.com, make a list of the movies you want to see, and in about one business day, you'll get 3 DVDs. Keep them as long as you want, without late fees. Then when you're done, look, prepaid envelopes. Return one, and they'll send you another movie from your list. It's easy.
Netflix. All the movies you want, $20 a month, and no late fees.
I used to get scratched DVDs from Netflix all the time that would mess up. They'd have to send me a new one. But this is, but yeah, I'd got rid of all my DVDs a long time ago. I had boxes and boxes and boxes of them in my basement.
When was the last time you put a DVD in to watch?
In our house, I can't remember. We have a DVD player, like a little pull down one in the van. So for like road trips or something, it doesn't play Blu-rays. It only plays the straight DVDs. There's a difference. So that's the only reason why we keep a few of those kids' DVDs around. But it got to the point to where my wife and I wanted to watch a movie, and I go, "Oh, I have this downstairs in the basement, in a box somewhere." And she goes, "We could just rent it for $2 on Amazon Prime right now. Let's just do that." I'm like, "All right, fine." So
you don't want to walk downstairs for the $2 or the $2.99 it is to rent it.
So I figured that was about time to make a donation to Goodwill. I mean, I had boxes and boxes of DVDs. And the funniest thing is, I need to watch this documentary I've been hearing about on YouTube. It's free. It's called Netflix versus the World. and it includes the story about how Blockbuster had the chance to buy Netflix for like $50 million. But the CEO said Netflix was it was a niche business, and the .com hysteria is completely overblown.
You kids and your internet.
I mean, could you imagine being the guy that passed up on buying Netflix?
Man,
$50 million is probably worth 8 times that now.
I will admit, though, man, I'm a little nostalgic. I miss going to Blockbuster.
Okay, yeah, when I was a kid, my dad would take me on the weekends.
Right. And when my kids were little, it was kind of toward the end of the Blockbuster era. They'd still love to go into the store and pick out a movie and grab a popcorn. They had video games in there at the time. It was kind of cool, man. I kind of miss it. It's got a special place in my heart.
I do too.
Tamara and Nigel show top stories coming up next.
Imagine if you could get a 35% bonus when you invest your money. If you invest $100,000, you get a $35,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $70,000 bonus.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. Learn how you could get a 35% bonus from Bill Demery, your retirement guy. We're believers in Bill, and now we're clients too. Not only will you get a 35% bonus, you'll sleep well at night knowing your money is backed by an A-plus insurance company that's been in business for 140 years and has $2.5 trillion in assets.
To learn how you could get your 35% bonus, call 317-932-9912. Reach out to Bill Demery, your retirement guy, at 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912.
Hey folks, it's Abdul, and I'm running for mayor of Indianapolis. Now, I've lived in the city for nearly 20 years, and I've seen the city at its best, and I've seen Indy at its worst, and lately, been a lot more worse. Record murders and record potholes. We can't expect different results if we re-elect the same people who are responsible for our city's problems. So go to abdulforindy.com and read about our plans to take a tough but smart approach to dealing with crime. Read about our creative approach to dealing with road funding, and learn how we can restore public trust in government. Everyone, regardless of zip code, deserves the right to live in a neighborhood with safe streets and good roads. It's time to try something different. Paid for by Abdul for Indy.
There's nothing more important than time. Time for you and time for family. If issues like high blood pressure or high cholesterol run in your family, make time for highly skilled heart care too. At Indiana University Health, you can book a same-day appointment with the state's most preferred provider of cardiovascular care. See a top cardiologist today, then get back to what's most important without skipping a beat. Visit iuhealth.org/heart to book your appointment today.
Expand your backyard living space with an Indy decorative concrete patio. Did you know that on average, our patios are less expensive than a wood deck? With a longer life, less maintenance, more color options, and more texture and pattern selections. We can even stamp your patio to look like wood. You can get a much larger and longer-lasting entertainment space for your investment. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts, changing the way Indy thinks about concrete.
Come into Bell Tire today. You'll get the lowest tire price, period. Like $70 off a set of 4 Michelin tires. You'll also get a guy who will give you free lifetime flat repairs, tire rotations, and alignment checks. Get $70 off a set of 4 Michelin tires. Plus more free services and more out of your tires and more for your money. It's how we make the lowest tire price feel even lower at Bell Tire. See store and belltire.com for details and offer expiration.
The internet can be an all-you-can-eat buffet for identity thieves.
So full. Too many maiden names. And social security numbers. Where'd you find those? By the password bar. Can't miss them.
LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss by monitoring your credit and bank statements. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to LifeLock.com.
It's JMV and spring is here at Sundown Gardens in Westfield. And right now, Sundown Gardens has 20% off all container shrubs and 20% off deciduous container trees and 25% off pottery fountains and statues. Enjoy the weather, save money, spruce up your yard, and shop Sundown Gardens. Ask about their loyalty program. Save money this week on container shrubs, deciduous container trees, pottery, fountains, and statues. That's Sundown Gardens, 186th Street, Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com.
Receive 40% off all products, plus special manufacturer rebates and up to 20 months, no interest, no payments. Just go to bwindow.com. We'll take care of the rest.
Traffic and weather brought to you by Insperity, providing scalable HR services, access to better benefits, payroll, and HR technology for over 35 years. Insperity's mission is to help businesses succeed so communities prosper. Insperity, HR that makes a difference. Visit Insperity.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, trouble behind bars for the boy arrested in the Noblesville school shooting. It's all happening after Fox News Radio from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
A not guilty plea in the shooting of a teen. I'm Matt Napolitano, Fox News. 84-year-old Andrew Lester pleading not guilty to shooting 16-year-old Ralph Yarl, a black teen who mistakenly showed up to Lester's Kansas City home to pick up his brothers.
Prosecutors say Lester fired 2 shots through a glass door, striking the teen in the arm and head. Lester, who lives alone, tells officials he thought someone was breaking in and saw the teen pull on the door. Yarl tells police he didn't pull on the door and that he heard someone say, "Don't come around here." The family's attorney says the teen suffered injuries, including a cracked skull, but is recovering.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin reporting. Maine State Police identifying the man they say killed 4 people before opening fire on a busy highway.
Joseph Eaton is the son of Cynthia and David Eaton, 2 of the deceased.
Colonel William Ross. Joseph Eaton injured 3 others shooting on a highway as he thought police were chasing him. He is back in custody less than a week after being released from prison following a probation violation. The Supreme Court extending a stay on access to the abortion pill until Friday. The justices taking more time to consider legal arguments related to access of mifepristone. For now, full nationwide access remains in effect. President Biden with a message for House GOP leadership as Speaker Kevin McCarthy unveils a plan to raise the nation's debt ceiling while reining in government spending.
Speaking to union workers in Accokeek, Maryland, President Biden called out House Speaker Kevin McCarthy for recent comments made when the speaker went to Wall Street.
You think he told the wealthy and powerful it's about time they step up and start paying a fair share? Not a word.
The president says he's willing to negotiate on a federal budget to keep the nation from an unprecedented default, saying that won't happen on his watch.
Fox's Gernal Scott. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He may have extended his stay. Sunny and 81 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. Clear radar, low 58 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. The Noblesville school shooter might get out of prison soon, only if he isn't charged for a new assault behind bars. Parker Carlson reports.
The plan is on his 18th birthday. The Noblesville school shooter gets to be released from juvenile prison to his parents on house arrest as long as he attends rehab. That doesn't sit right with prosecutors, who are now bringing up a new case against the shooter. They say he assaulted someone while in juvie. The prosecutors are asking the judge to hold off on any release while they investigate and maybe bring new charges against him. Their next hearing over the assault is next Thursday. Parker Carlson, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A 15-year-old boy accused of having a rifle during a disturbance at a downtown intersection Saturday has been arrested. Police say the suspect was spotted around 11 p.m. at Illinois and Maryland streets before running away and being found hiding in a parking garage between a couple of cars. A discarded rifle was found under another car. IMPD says he faces charges of possessing a firearm and weed. When tornadoes rip through a community, what's left is the debris from the homes people spent their whole lives building. As part of the recovery effort, Whiteland needs to rebuild from the emotional trauma as well as the physical.
The mental health is a huge component that we're learning is very critical to address during a situation like this.
Whiteland's Development Director Carmen Young talking to Wish TV. FEMA is on their way in to help rebuild. Recovery could take at least a year. You can expect wind gusts to reach about 40 miles per hour across Indiana Thursday.
And the other thing to note for tomorrow is it's going to be pretty dry ahead of the rain. So there's going to be a little bit of enhanced fire danger. So we definitely want to discourage people from doing any burning on Thursday.
Andrew White with the National Weather Service says after that, temperatures will start to fall over the weekend. It'll warm up again, though, next week. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
Indiana has a long history of pioneering education freedom and empowering families who know what's best for their children. But as universal education freedom sweeps the nation in states like Iowa, Arizona, Arkansas, West Virginia, Utah, and Florida, Hoosiers are at risk of being left behind unless we act now. Indiana lawmakers have an opportunity to ensure all Hoosiers can exercise their right to decide what education is best for their child, where they learn, how they learn. The time is now for Indiana to regain its status as a leader by delivering universal access to education freedom for every Hoosier. The time is now for Indiana to ensure our children get the education they deserve, so they can compete with every state in America and every country around the globe. Contact your state senator today and tell them now is the time to put our kids first and pass universal school choice. Paid for by Yes Every Kid.
Traffic at the 5s at 5:05. Here's Matt Bear.
Harrison, Clinton County, northbound 65 is closed to State Road 47 because of a semi crash and fire. All lanes are shut down. Southbound 65 also closed at State Road 28 in Clinton County because of the crash in the northbound lanes. Reroute is preferred on US 52, but the whole area is a mess. Traffic in Lebanon, a disaster right now as people try to make their way to US 52. Inbound 69, stop and go 96 to 82nd. Eastbound 70, slow to downtown from Tibbs. And southbound 465, southwest side stop and go traffic from 70 over to the White River. Traffic sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store, staplesconnect.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
For tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, low temperature of 57 degrees. Tomorrow, clouds will increase. Temperature does get to 80 degrees for a high. Wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there. We've got a few stories from various parts of the state of Indiana, Hammer. So without further ado, let's kick off some Indiana stuff.
All right. Tenderloins.
Woo!
Euchre. Basketball. Indiana stuff.
Good news from Richmond, right?
Yes. Dateline Richmond, Indiana. The EPA has detected no contaminants of concern in regard to that massive fire that broke out.
Oh, yeah, that warehouse. Would it have some plastics in it and stuff like that?
Ton of plastics and like environmental things. It's actually still kind of smoldering a little bit. Still parts of that fire are going on in regards to that warehouse fire. It caused over 1,500 residents to evacuate at the time. But now the EPA says they've done testing and they have not detected any contaminants of concern in the air.
Can you imagine getting that emergency text alert or somebody actually knocking on your door at your house and saying, hey, pack up what you can, you've got to evacuate? They did that for 1,500 people, had to find some place to go.
Think about the major stories that have taken place in Richmond over the last 12 months. I mean, Richmond's not a big city. It's not small, but it's not a big Indiana city. But they lost Officer Ciara Burton, who lost her life in the line of duty. And then this big, massive warehouse fire. The EPA says they have reduced the number of air monitors and air sampling equipment in the community, but will still continue 24-hour-a-day monitoring.
I don't know, all these warehouse fires going on. I mean, it seems like there's one every day across this country. I mean, look what happened a couple of years ago at the Walmart warehouse there in near Plainfield, Brownsburg. Plainfield, yeah.
That was huge.
They still don't know, have a lot of answers as to what happened there.
Now, the EPA says they've also collected debris from the fire to test for contaminants. We haven't got the results back yet, but they're saying the air quality is okay right now. Nothing to be concerned about. But you're right, Nigel. It feels like we see stories about a warehouse fire or train derailments or something like that all the time now. Are we just paying more attention? Have these things always happened, but we're just paying more attention?
I hope so. I hope so. I hope we're just paying attention. I hope there's nothing more nefarious going on out there causing these kinds of things. Food production plants. We just had that big explosion in the South. Like 18,000 cattle were killed. I just, you look at this, you start seeing one pile up, one right after the other. And I think naturally you're thinking something is happening here that shouldn't be, other than just a coincidence or an accident.
We're doing some Indiana stuff here. And now let's go to LaGrange County, up along the Michigan border in northern Indiana, northeast Indiana. An auto dealer under investigation by the Indiana Secretary of State for allegedly scamming vehicle buyers.
How?
He was rolling back the odometers on the cars in the lot. At least according to the lawsuit made against the business.
That's called pulling a Ferris. What Ferris Bueller tried to do to Cameron's dad's Ferrari?
That's right. Drive it in reverse. And if that doesn't work, you roll back the odometer.
Crack open the odometer. As if that was the dumbest part of that movie, that they actually thought that Ferris, as smart as he was and as cunning as he was, thought that he could roll back the miles on Cameron's dad's Ferrari just by what they do. They jacked it up on the rear and had a brick on the gas pedal and just put it in reverse, and they thought that would work.
Does not work that way.
No.
Diego Morales, who is the Secretary of State and is ironically Rob Kendall's Euchre partner, announced in a release that came out that says the Flexible Auto Sales LLC, based in LaGrange County along the Michigan border, is accused of rolling back millions of miles.
Jeez.
So think about this. It's one thing to try to do it like Ferris, where you want to get a few miles off of it. They were doing this for so many cars. We're up to millions of miles.
I mean, I wonder if it's one of these shady little used car places that you see on a corner on an intersection somewhere in a bad part of town,
right?
Type deal. I have no idea what this is, but I don't think a lot of these things don't have the most pristine reputations. A lot of these places.
The Secretary of State and Todd Rokita's Attorney General's office working together, and they filed the lawsuit against the owner of the dealership, John Allen.
All right.
Now, on the subject of scams in Indiana, be careful if you live in one of these counties that was affected by the tornado outbreak that took place March 31st, I believe it was. Because today, FEMA workers are going door to door, and they're helping out the Hoosiers that may need some disaster assistance from the government. And of course, you have to be careful when you answer the door and somebody says, "I'm here from FEMA, give me your information." So don't get scammed. The folks from FEMA put out a press release saying that team members will be wearing FEMA attire and have federal photo ID badges.
Yeah. Don't just start handing over your information to some dude in a mesh trucker cap with the fast food grease stains on the shirt, and it's on the shirt written in Sharpie. It says FEMA.
A wife beater. It just says FEMA in a black Sharpie across.
Don't fall for that. Hey, as long as we're talking scams here, before we head to Matt Barrett, do you mind if I play the IRS scammer again? That audio, that phone call yesterday that we played, because tax day was yesterday,
right?
The IRS will never call you. They either email you or they will mail you,
right?
And so this guy got a call from somebody from the IRS, and they were trying to scam him and getting him to give them money, or we're going to take you to jail. And he pretended like he was Ralph Macchio in The Karate Kid. Here it is.
The IRS reviewed your file. They found that there is still an amount that is outstanding that you owe to the IRS due to this miscalculation.
So you're telling me Mr. Miyagi filed my taxes wrong?
Yeah, exactly. But there isn't some mistake while filing the taxes.
Well, this is on him. I mean, I've been doing odd jobs for this old man. I wash his cars, I build his deck, I paint his fences. And in trade, he's supposed to teach me karate. I've been getting picked on by these guys, and he's like, I'll teach you to protect yourself. And now you're telling me he's screwing me on my taxes?
Today we will have to start a legal action on your name.
I love it. Isn't that the best? I love screwing with those people.
Does anybody think, with that woman's thick accent and the bad connection, that she is actually with the IRS? Sounds like she's calling from somebody's trunk somewhere. And then he goes out there, hey, I've been waxing on, waxing off. I've been
That's genius.
Painting the fence up and down. Now you're telling me that Mr. Miyagi screwed me on my taxes?
That is good stuff.
That is fantastic, actually. All right, let's take a little break here. Matt Baer standing by in the WIBC Traffic Center.
Boone County to Clinton County. Northbound 65 is closed right now. North of State Road 47. Traffic being diverted to State Road 47. This is a semi crash. Both caught fire. And one person was taken to the hospital. That's what we know as far as injuries, and traffic is an absolute mess. Stopped in those northbound lanes back to State Road 32. The southbound side also closed near Lebanon Rest area. That's at State Road 28, where traffic's being diverted in those southbound lanes. Details at WIBC Traffic. Inbound 65, stop and go around the hoof to the north split. Eastbound 70, stop and go to downtown. Timms Avenue to Meridian, Illinois, and a crash Emerson Avenue near 70. Traffic sponsored by Isaacs and Isaacs. Dog bite injury? Call Isaacs and Isaacs, the law firm Indiana has trusted for over 20 years. They'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve. Click and get help quick at WeWin.com. That's WeWin.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
All right, sunshine, 80 degrees at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. If you're going out to Cardinal Ritter High School tonight, watch a little high school baseball. If you see the Hammer kid get in the game, your job is to yell out, Hammer and Nigel sucks, as loud as you can. It'll make him laugh. So do that if you're going to the game. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
If today were the last day of your life, would you want to do what you're about to do today? As time marches on, the inescapable movement of the clock can change our perspective on life and our daily purpose. We all get there someday. In recent years, families I work with often ask, what happens to me, Brian, if something happens to you or you decide to retire? Every day I ask myself, does this still feel like a purpose that I look forward to, or is this starting to feel like a job? This is Brian Singer with Singer Financial. I feel blessed to still love what I do, but someday my purpose might shift to playing pickleball 24/7. CNBC reports that 73% of financial advisors lack a formal succession plan. That means that nearly 3 out of 4 advisors may be contemplating their own retirement with no transitional support for the clients who may have trusted them for years or decades. Fiduciary advisors put clients' best interests first. At Singer Financial, that means knowing how the individuals, couples, and families we work with will be taken care of for many more years beyond my retirement, unexpected disability, or death. Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people. I'm excited to share that Singer Financial is now a part of Howard Bailey Financial, an Indiana-based retirement planning firm. We believe our integration with the Howard Bailey team is a giant step forward in our mission to be the last financial team you would ever need or want. Howard Bailey is a growing firm with a youthful, energetic founder and a cutting-edge planning process designed to help you transition into a work-optional lifestyle someday. Call us at 317-852-9153 to schedule a discovery visit and talk about your someday. If you're ready to plan for your best retirement, we should get together.
Investment advisory services offered through registered investment advisors Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, and AE Wealth Management, LLC. Working with Singer Financial cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
The once-a-year jewelry event everyone waits for is here. Starting Friday, Diamonds Direct takes value to a whole new level with an extra 20% savings on just about everything. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and more. You get Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable price, plus an extra 20% off. Thousands of engagement ring mountings included. Plus, acclaimed jewelry designers will be in-store with an expanded selection. All the latest styles and trends, all on sale. It doesn't get any better than this. Diamonds Direct, store-wide spring event, starting Friday. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
Hubler has it.
Hubler has all the top brands: Chevy, Buick, GMC, Ford, Acura, Honda, Mazda, Nissan, and more. And every new vehicle includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Looking to sell your vehicle? We'll pay you top dollar, even if you don't buy ours. Take it from Brooke Hubler.
You can get a car anywhere, but you can only get a warranty like this at Hubler. 10 years, 200,000 miles.
Visit drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it all.
Warranty available on new vehicles except certain models, non-transferable or available on leases. Copy of the warranty is available for review at the dealership.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password.
Or you to become a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to LifeLock.com.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any.
Did you know trading in your car at a dealer could cost you money? A recent study found consumers who trade in their car pay an average of $990 more. So don't trade in. Sell it to We Buy Any Car. Learn more and get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Find out how much your car's worth at We Buy Any Car.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
This hour is powered by Dammons West, Indiana's most complete garden center.
Are you really okay with this?
Are you okay? Everything's gonna be okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm pretty far from okay.
Are you okay with this? On the Hammer and Nigel show.
Oh, yeah!
Hammer, are you okay with this? A man on a Southwest flight to Orlando was upset that a baby was crying for 45 minutes and the parents weren't doing anything. Listen to this guy's reaction as the flight attendant tries to get him to calm down, but he continues to actually rip the baby.
With a baby in a goddamn echo chamber, and you want to talk to me about being okay?
Okay, because you're yelling.
So is the baby.
Okay, so you're mad.
Did that motherfucker pay extra to yell?
Okay.
No. Shut up. You and shut up. No. I don't give a f***. You were sitting there and watching that motherfucking baby cry for 45 minutes.
Okay.
That shit didn't have nothing to do with nothing.
Okay.
Lower that baby's voice.
Okay.
I'm tripping.
Are you okay with this?
Yes, I am 110% okay with this because I see what this guy's doing. By ripping the baby, you ultimately get the attention of the people supposed to be in charge of the baby. Now, again, I wasn't on this flight, but looking at all the information here,
I can't believe you're taking this lunatic side.
It sounds like the parents were just letting the baby go, not trying to console it, just letting it cry for 45 minutes. This guy is the hero that we all need.
Oh, please.
And in this rant, there are so many good lines. There are so many things that all of us think but don't say out loud.
Okay.
Like this part where the flight attendant says, "Sir, you're yelling." And his response, "So is the baby."
Okay, because you're yelling.
So is the baby.
But it is a baby.
It is, but it's Southwest, so they all paid the same amount of money to be on, which takes me to the next line where the guy wonders if the baby paid any extra to behave that way.
Did that motherfucker pay me extra to yell?
Wait, what'd he say? Hold on, wait, what?
Did that motherfucker pay me extra to yell?
Calling the baby an MFer.
Oh, that's awful.
And wondering if he paid extra to yell.
Is that what he said?
Play it one more time.
Did that motherfucker pay me extra to yell?
Holy crap. This guy's insane. He needs to be hauled off in handcuffs.
No, this is my spirit animal. He says what all of us are thinking. So when the flight attendant says, "Lower your voice," listen to his response.
Lower your voice. Lower that baby's voice. I'm tripping.
Quote, lower that baby's voice. I'm triggered.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've all thought it. And listen, I understand sometimes babies cry, but at least try to console it. Try to put a pacifier in. Try to hug it. Try to love it. Try to do something. It sounded like the parents were just sitting there reading magazines, watching movies on their phone. That's when this hero, and that's what he is, Nigel. He's a hero. Steps up and rips the baby and the parents.
Ridiculous. Okay, moving on here. A Canadian woman caught, oh boy, here we go. A Canadian woman caught a black bear on camera breaking into her vehicle and drinking dozens of cans of soda. Are you okay with this?
It was about 3 a.m, and my dog actually alerted me to something was out there. So I took a look outside and I saw the bear, and he was drinking massive amounts of soda. He started with the Orange Crush, and eventually the last thing he got was the Diet Pop, which is the only thing he didn't finish. So out of the 72 pop, he drank 69 of them.
Yes, I'm okay with this because, one, the bear is no longer a threat because he's dead of diabetes. He keeled over right there, died right there on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, the cocaine bear died too, right?
He did.
Too much cocaine, same deal here.
Right. Man, that orange soda, man, boy, that is some sweet stuff. But I think we all know where this conversation is going.
Oh, yes.
I think we're all aware of what has to happen now. Great moments in shooing away Bears history.
Yeah, it's my favorite segment on this show.
Great moments in shooing away Bears history. This was when the guy had a bear run into his backyard, and like you hear his wife and kids scrambling to get in.
Dog.
And the way that he handles it was he growls back at the bear like an even bigger bear.
I can listen to it all day. Great moments in shooing away Bears history.
There was a couple guys in California that noticed that there was a bear on their roof.
Hey, bear. Hey, bear. Get.
Go and get.
Bear. Get out. Hey, yo.
I like how he's just calling it bear. Hey, bear. Bear, go on, get. Bear. I don't know, something funny to me about that.
Now, different people use different techniques when shooing away bears. This was a woman, and I believe it was in Tennessee, using her, quote, teacher voice to try to, have a conversation with the bear and get her away from her back deck.
Get down from there. Get down from there. Right now. Go. You get down from my porch right now. Go. What do you think you're doing on my porch? You get down. Go. How dare you?
That could either be a lady shooing away a bear or a teacher getting the kid to get off his desk or something like that. How dare you stand on the desk?
Get down from there. Get down from there.
Imagine
right
one of her students standing
right
on the chair or something, horse playing.
Get down from there. Get down.
She's given that speech before.
Yeah, she has.
She's absolutely given that speech before. And of course, last but not least, we always save this for last. It's our absolute favorite. It's the number one seed in our shooing away Bears bracket. The guy on the hiking trail.
Quiet.
Yeah.
So he kind of had the same approach as this guy, right? Several different approaches to shooing away a bear.
Right. There's no wrong way to shoo away a bear, and that's what makes it great moments in shooing away Bears history.
All right, got time for one more here, Hammer. A Spanish athlete saw the sun for the first time in a year and a half this week after spending more than 500 days in an underground cave. Are you okay with this?
So mountain climber Beatrice Famini, who was 48 years old when she entered the cave and 50 when she emerged, volunteered to be part of this isolation project for researchers. But here's the thing. This is why I'm okay with this. She said while she was living in the cave where it was dark, no sunlight, 230 feet underground, she was able to exercise. She was able to knit. She drew pictures. She read 60 books.
Where did you go to the bathroom?
Well, that might be part of the problem, but it sounded like she had a great time. Like her and Aaron Rodgers need to date. Doesn't Aaron Rodgers do that darkness retreat in the off season?
But not for 500 days.
No.
He'd miss an entire season and a half of football.
But if she's okay with this, if she was solid with it, think about how stress-free her life was. She didn't have to worry about Biden, or she didn't have to talk about politics, or who the Colts were going to draft.
Didn't have to be scared about getting COVID
or shooing away a bear. Sure. Absolutely. So yes, 100% I am okay with that. Tony Kennett of the Daily Signal. He is going to join us next. We got a couple different topics to run by him. He is the expert on all things education in this country. So Tony Kennett coming up next. Right now, we look at the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Convicted 3 years later. Sunny, 81 degrees on Monument Circle. Nothing in the radar. Clear sky should continue into tonight. Low down to 58. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:30. A man has been convicted in a 2020 murder. Donnie Burgess reports.
Stephen Boykin not only shot his cousin on the night of November 1st, but he also shot his cousin's mother, Mia Harrison, and the family dog, Blugo, leaving them both for dead in a home on East 30th Place. Boykin's cousin survived and drove to a gas station where he met police. Indy Metro Police pulled up to the home with a SWAT team, and Boykin gave up. Detectives matched shell casings in the home to Boykin's gun, which sealed the deal. He's headed to prison, and he'll find out for how long on May 17th. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A crash between two semis on I-65 in Clinton County this afternoon is going to have the northbound lanes of the interstate closed for a while. Matt Bear's going to have more on the delay in a few minutes from the WIBC Traffic Center. An abortion pill facing legal challenges will remain available through at least next week.
Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito signed an order extending a stay of a lower court's restrictions on mifepristone, a pill used for medication abortions. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals limited the drug's use last week after a district court judge revoked FDA approval. The new Supreme Court order puts the appeals court ruling on hold through Friday night. At issue right now is whether the drug will face restrictions as federal lawsuits are being considered.
Fox's Jared Halpern. President Biden says he wants Republicans to take default off the table as Congress needs to pass legislation to raise the debt ceiling. He claims Republicans want to make spending cuts to programs that benefit Americans in order to raise the debt limit. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy did announce a plan today to lift the debt ceiling. It did include spending cuts. The EPA has released the results of air testing after a fire at a plastics recycling facility in Richmond that happened over a week ago. The agency says they've not found any contaminants of concern in the air, and they'll continue to monitor the situation. Rain could be on the way Thursday.
We're going to have storms moving in late in the afternoon tomorrow, but most of it's going to be falling during the overnight hours tomorrow night.
Andrew White with the National Weather Service says there's a small chance that those storms turn severe Thursday and Friday. Temperatures supposed to drop heading into the weekend. It'll get warmer again later next week. And with traffic at 5:32, here's Matt Bear.
Harry, like you said, northbound 65 is closed right now, and it is now closed at US 52. That's where they are pushing in Lebanon. US 52 northbound lanes are shut down. They could be shut down for 8 to 12 hours. The last time I talked to INDOT, that was the timetable. That puts us around midnight at the earliest. We will see. Hey, by the way, southbound is also closed right now at State Road 28. That's where they are diverting traffic in Clinton County. All of this because of a semi-crash and fire near the Lebanon rest area. The whole area is completely brutal right now with traffic. Northbound 465 stop before 86 to 865. Westbound 70 downtown jammed from the south split out to Harding. Traffic sponsored by B Windows. Celebrate B Windows 40-year anniversary with 40% savings on all of their products. Plus manufacturer's rebates. Get 20 months. No interest. No payments. Trust me. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
For tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, low temperature of 57 degrees. Tomorrow, clouds will increase. Temperature does get to 80 degrees for a high, wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
The Hammer and Nigel Show. My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there with a very special guest on the DriveHubler.com hotline.
Tony Kennett was a longtime educator in the school system at IPS, and now he's the investigative reporter for the Daily Signal. Tony, we got a number of things happening around the country we want to get to, but first, let's start with something a little local here. Yesterday, Rob Kendall of the Kendall and Casey Show comes on our program and gives us the inside scoop on this bombshell story from the Brownsburg school system, where at the elementary level, there's an investigation going on where it sounds like there were some school staff members mistreating a special needs child.
To say the least.
To say the least. What do you know and what have you heard about this story?
So, unfortunately, as in many education stories, I'm currently playing telephone with a lot of parents, and the stories that I've heard are incredibly wild. I'm not going to speculate too much. All that we really have nailed down so far is that this was an incident that was caught at lunch. We don't know if there was some kind of long-term abuse regarding the special education student. We don't know if it's short-term. We don't know the extent. And there's a reason that it's very important to say that, because I was offered a chance, I'm told, to watch a video of these proceedings apparently happening. And I've got a bit of a soft spot when it comes to kids in special education programs. I've worked with a lot of kids with special needs over the years, and I told them that the two things they need to do immediately are, first of all, send that video to the Indiana Department of Education and force Jenner to start an official investigation. And number two, they need to send that video to the Attorney General's office, who can make sure that police departments are doing everything in their power. This is one of the areas that, even as a journalist, in which I'm usually itching to get my hands on video, I think that really some official channels need to take a look at this in full first before I get my 2 cents in. Now, that said, there is a very special place in hell for any adult that would mistreat a child. So much worse so when it comes to mistreating a child in special education or with special needs. So the thing I would encourage at this point is for everyone to kind of hold on a second until we know more. But the more that I hear about this story, the more frustrated I am.
Yesterday, Rob Kendall told us some pretty horrible things from sources of his in terms of what exactly happened. But since we don't know, is there any chance that this incident, whatever it was, could be I don't want to use the word overblown, but maybe not what it seems to be?
Well, it depends on what you mean by overblown. I mean, if we look back to the Hamilton Southeastern story, in which the Black Lives Matter poster, the reason that I wrote that story is because I heard 18 different rumors, and every one was more fanciful than the previous one. And even after I published the story, people were still telling crazier, more insane stories than what happened. So in this case, I've heard a little bit of that. I've heard a few different things that are concerning. But again,
There's already been teachers fired, right? There's already been some firings.
I think at this point there are 5 teachers who are either on suspension, under investigation, or have been fired. Brownsburg has been very tight-lipped about all of this because, of course, it's really bad for the school that brags that they're the number one school in the state all the time, right? And is always telling everyone how wonderful they are again and again and again. But this is a very bad thing for the school board, who has spent the last year assuring parents how safe and how wonderful this district is. So I think we're going to have to wait for the local police, as well as maybe the DOE or Rakita's office, to open the lips of Brownsburg regarding this. I believe the last that I heard is that there are several different groups of attorneys in Indianapolis and near Brownsburg getting involved. And anytime you have several groups of attorneys being called in, you're looking at a possible legal battle regarding what did and didn't happen, and like actually clarifying camera footage that only records video and doesn't record audio. There's a whole lot here that's not yet been touched.
Tony, last thing on this story, and we'll move on, but you mentioned that Brownsburg has been very tight-lipped about this, and I'm sure they're probably getting the legal counsel to tell them to be that way. But if you have a child that goes to that school, if you're a parent that has a kid that goes to that elementary school, or maybe anywhere in the Brownsburg school system, and you're wondering what's going on. At what point should you get answers?
I believe, and a lot of schools, I'm actually writing an article about this right now, that schools hide behind what's called the Family Education Rights Privacy Act, or called FERPA, in which a school can basically look at you and say, well, we don't want to divulge any information about any students, don't want to break the law, so we're not going to tell you anything, which is a very gross misreading and misuse of that law, which basically just says, hey, don't put pictures of kids online and things like that. So what I'm seeing with Brownsburg and a lot of other schools is keeping parents who might be concerned about their child in special education from the truth. Now, you hear a lot of superintendents and a lot of school board members that I've seen at other schools that have basically said, oh, come to me and ask me questions whenever. But then when the parent goes in, the school basically gives them the runaround and says very vague terms. So to answer your question, when should parents know about what's going on? The day of the incident. And the email should read, to the best of our knowledge, here is what appears to have happened, period. And then say, hey, this may change. We don't know. You guys know it's okay to be honest with parents if you don't know something. Right. Parents just want to know as much as you know, and it's their right. Their kids are in your care. And this is what I do. If I don't know something in a story, I let people know. It's called being transparent.
Tony Kennett is our guest. He's an investigative journalist with the Daily Signal. So let's turn our attention to some other things happening around the country here. So Joe Biden is back on that whole ban assault weapons bandwagon, put out the big tweet earlier today. And as luck would have it, there happens to be a hearing in Washington, D.C., where the head of the ATF, now we played this audio earlier, but this is amazing. The head of the ATF, which stands for Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, stands there on the stand in front of everyone and says he doesn't know much about firearms. So what are we doing here, Tony? Is this just a waste of everyone's time? Is this just pandering to his anti-gun base? What's going on here?
It is a big waste of everyone's time, because when you actually take a look at the statistics behind mass shootings and individuals who use quote-unquote assault rifles, to which there is absolutely no confirmed definition of what an assault rifle is. That is a completely made-up term. It's why the Supreme Court had so many struggles with the quote-unquote assault weapons ban in the 90s. It's completely ridiculous. That said, we have not actually taken into account that the individuals who are members of the NRA, individuals who have been trained in firearms safety, individuals who have been raised by parents to respect firearms, to maintain firearms, to, again, just ensure that they understand and appreciate their Second Amendment rights, those aren't the people that go and shoot up schools. It doesn't seem to be an owning firearms issue. The vast majority of individuals who own firearms never commit any kind of a crime. It appears that those who are struggling with mental health issues, again, getting up and saying this again, are the ones who are responsible for these horrific events. So instead of actually addressing this, which would also force the Biden administration to address their horrific policy regarding transgender issues, as well as classifying mental illnesses as sexual identities now, the Biden administration is taking this easier scapegoat and saying, well, it's the guns, even though the firearms that are in my safe have never hurt a human soul. And so that's really what we're doing here. It's a very large scapegoat, and it's hilarious to watch the director of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms admit that he doesn't know what firearms are. That's a real win for the books.
One more thing on weapons here, since we're kind of talking about it. We mentioned earlier that bill that was in the Indiana legislature that would allow training for teachers has now passed through the Senate. So it came through the House, it's passed through the Senate. This is a bill that would allow teachers who choose to do this. This isn't something that's forced. They will have paid training for firearms to help, hopefully eliminate the threat of a mass shooting. Heaven forbid it ever take place in the school. Are you okay with this?
I got to be honest with you guys. And again, in that interest of being transparent, and I've said transparency that I said earlier, I am back and forth on this all the time. I am. There are very good arguments for it. There are good arguments against it. I think that there are better solutions here, like hiring veterans and hiring security guards, like we hire people to guard other institutions in society, that you certainly don't feel terrified. If I go to the big post office in Indianapolis, there's a posted guard. I don't feel like I'm walking into a prison because there's a security guard with a gun. But I think that's a better solution. As for teachers who want to carry firearms, let me put it this way. When I was in Knightstown and I was a middle school teacher, I would have felt safe being one of those teachers. I would have felt as though I would be completely in control. When I was in Lawrence North, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Why?
Because if I have high school students, let's say, who are delinquents, and I taught several delinquents, where in the classroom am I going to keep that firearm that I can be absolutely certain that one of those kids is not going to access it? And even on my waistband, again, there is no adult man who can fight off 8, 9, 10 other high school boys who are determined to take it from him. I think in that case, risks could outweigh the rewards. So if that law had passed and I were still teaching, if I were in Knightstown, I'd probably lean toward maybe, having that be a thing maybe that I did. Were I in Lawrence North? Absolutely not. Too dangerous, and I think that there are too many factors at play.
Speaking with Tony Kinnett, investigative journalist with the Daily Signal, can you stick around for another segment? Because I want to circle back around to education and maybe an update from some of that undercover footage that was shot regarding Indiana school administrators lying to parents about CRT in the schools. Can you stick around?
Sure. This is infinitely more, I would say, entertaining than the congressional hearing I'm outside of.
Okay. We'll be right back. It's Tony Kinnett on the Hammer and Nigel Show.
I don't like to walk downtown anymore. Only when I have to. Even during the day. There's so many out on the street, aggressive. I mean, I feel terrible for them. But at the same time, I don't feel safe. Every night, there's another story on the news. Another shooting, something violent. And it's not even in one area. It's all over the city. Just the other day, a woman was robbed at gunpoint at church. At church. I heard that so far this year, our murder rate is higher than Chicago. Chicago! I'm proud of Indianapolis. That's just not what I think of. What I think Indianapolis should be. The only thing I can think to do differently is I have to vote differently. Starting now, until it gets better. So I'm going to vote for Shreve in May. Maybe Hogsett gets the message. Or maybe we get a new mayor in November.
Paid for by Shreve for mayor.
Imagine if you could get a 35% bonus when you invest your money. If you invest $100,000, you get a $35,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $70,000 bonus.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. Learn how you could get a 35% bonus from Bill Demery, your retirement guy. We're believers in Bill, and now we're clients too. Not only will you get a 35% bonus, you'll sleep well at night knowing your money is backed by an A-plus insurance company that's been in business for 140 years and has $2.5 trillion in assets.
To learn how you could get your 35% bonus, call 317-932-9912. Reach out to Bill Demery, your retirement guy, at 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Hi, this is Malia with Family Heating and Air, and as a mom myself, I know it's really important to keep the kiddos healthy. Air quality, humidity, those are super big issues on my concern list. If you share any of these concerns, give family a call, 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Testosterone levels are at an all-time low. Individual T levels decline 1% every year. Chalk, CHOQ, is the new champion of natural testosterone boosters. Chalk's main ingredient is clinically studied to naturally boost testosterone 20% in 90 days. Supercharge your masculinity and boost your daily energy with Chalk's Male Vitality Stack. For a limited time, our listeners will get 30% off at CHOQ.com with promo code USA. CHOQ.com, code USA.
This is Scott Willis running for mayor of Westfield. As a colonel in the United States Marines, I stood up for our country, our families, and our values. As mayor, I have the leadership and vision to make Westfield a world-class city. How do we build a world-class city without losing the qualities we love? We do it with transparency, integrity, and smart leadership. I am a lifelong Republican. I'll work to diversify our tax base and to lower residential taxes. On Election Day, experience matters. I'm Scott Willis, and I'd be honored to have your vote.
Paid for by Willis for Westfield.
Learn how a Retire Shield plan from Crown Haven Wealth Advisors provides clear, straightforward retirement solutions that are custom tailored for you. This Sunday on WIBC from 9 to 10 a.m.
Shop the spring savings sale at Grand Appliance for unbeatable prices, extra savings, and fast professional delivery. Learn more at grandappliance.com. Grand Appliance, experts since 1930.
Damon's Garden Center West has endless varieties of trees, shrubs, vegetables, flowers, hanging baskets, plus garden and landscape supplies, and a friendly and helpful staff at Damon's West on Rockville Road.
Matt Baer has a look at the roads.
Lebanon is a disaster right now because of a semi crash northbound 65, and right now all lanes closed at US 52 on that northbound side, and estimates that this could be a closure up to midnight, maybe 8 to 12 hours. That puts us around midnight, 4 a.m. when northbound could reopen. Southbound 65 also closed because of the semi crash at State Road 28, and that's where traffic is getting pushed. Both delays are awful, and US 52 is trashed right now, both directions from State Road 47. Looking at inbound 69, slows 96 to 82nd. That's a crash. Benford Boulevard to 65th. Benford backing up both directions. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Celebrate B Window's 40-year anniversary with 40% savings on all of their products, plus manufacturer's rebates. Get 20 months, no interest, no payments. Trust me. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
80 degrees at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here, and we'll go back to the drivehubler.com hotline with Tony Kinnett from the Daily Signal. We've had about a week and a half to let the dust settle. I don't know that it's settled. Maybe that's not the right term to use. About the undercover kind of Project Veritas-ish like video footage. I forget the organization that actually did the undercover work.
Accuracy in Media.
Accuracy in Media went to several different schools, including Plainfield and Carmel, and basically got administrators to admit they were teaching CRT without actually calling it CRT. Are there any updates? Do you have any more reaction as time has gone on here?
Yeah, I've actually talked to Accuracy in Media, and I had a great opportunity to talk with a lot of their staff and their team and review a lot of things from the transcripts regarding those videos. All I can say, at least about that, is that you have not heard the last from them as regard to their undercover investigations in Indiana. So that's definitely something you're going to want to keep an eye out for. We'll be hearing from them in the not too distant future. Number two, I really love listening to, I've heard everyone from Democratic senators. I've heard from the official Plainfield email they sent to parents all over the state. This is a divisive group that came in to sow discord in the community and took all these clips out of context. I want to make something very clear. If I say a full sentence to you guys that has a noun, verb, direct object, and I make a claim to both of you, it does not matter what I said 5 minutes ago or 5 minutes into the future. If I am describing something going on, like let's say we have to keep our equity committees under the radar because parents will get mad if we call them equity committees, as two of the administrators on that video said very overtly, just point blank. That's not taken out of context. You don't need an hour's worth of video to describe what she said, which was that we have to keep things from parents because we don't trust our parents not to get angry about the fact that we're segregating their children and their teachers. So that is hilarious to me, watching that's the current narrative. Oh, well, the clips are only 30 seconds. Well, yes, it took her under 30 seconds to say the full sentence.
And does the fact that some of these school administrators have been placed on leave and either suspended, I'm not sure if anybody's been fired over this yet, does that give you any sort of comfort as a parent saying, okay, they're doing something about this now?
Well, they're not doing something about it. They're covering their tracks. And we actually saw this with regards to Elkhart. So Elkhart put Brian Shepard on suspension, and also in Goshen, they put Tracy Noah on suspension on leave. and I can't remember which one it is, again, transparency, but it's either Elkhart or Goshen, released a statement saying, well, this person actually, I actually believe it was Goshen. Well, we don't know. Tracy said things that aren't really true and don't represent the district, so we're sorry that she, I don't know, like had a stroke mid-interview and said all those crazy things off the handle. No, that they're covering their tracks. It's so blatantly obvious. This is like when in South Madison with Pendleton, Mike Hanna changed his answer like 5 times over the course of like 3 months. It was really funny, but also very depressing. They're not actually trying to work with parents. They're not trying to comfort the community beyond these simple platitudes. In reality, they got caught, and they're desperately trying to make it up because they understand that parents are very upset about being lied to, and they are more likely to elect school boards and can that superintendent.
What are you working on at the Daily Signal?
There are a lot of interesting things going on around the country at all times, but I think that what people need to start focusing on are the great examples of micro schools, private schools, and alternative options. We always spend time looking at the bad schools. I think that we should really start shining a light on the good options that parents have to send their kids to.
Tony Kennett, the Daily Signal and the Tony Kennett Show. Tony, thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Mom, Dad, Sis?
Here we go again.
Why are you in a suit? Picture, if you will, a world with the best network imaginable. I'm talking about the Xfinity 10G network. Go on. Mom, remember how your reality shows wouldn't load with all of us online? Now you can binge. And Susie, we'll have fast internet in the basement.
Nice.
If you have any questions, here's my card.
This is just your name on a gum wrapper.
Introducing the 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Now through April 23rd, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Plus, there's no annual contract required and you get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
The NBA playoffs are here, and you can turn crossovers into cash with FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com/WIBC